Vanakkam, Namaskaram. Good evening to all. Astika Bhakta Sankirtana Samajam ABSS cordially welcomes you for the public lecture by Sri Dushyanth Sridhar. Dushyanth Sridhar has a master's degree in chemical engineering from BITS Balani. While at BITS, he was a professor, assistant, student coordinator, and also a visiting faculty to leading business schools. Dushyanth Sridhar is an expert on the religious texts of Sanatana Dharma and has traveled worldwide. He is a regular speaker in leading television channels in India. He is trained in the necessary scriptures by revered preceptors and has been duly acclaimed by them for his oratory skills. Arva's verses, Ramanuja's philosophy, and Desika's works remain close to his heart. His timely humor, relevant examples, and pleasing music are profoundly found in his discourses. He has rendered over 700 discourses in different cities worldwide. His YouTube videos have been more than 500,000 views. He has more than 10 albums to his credit. His talks and discourses appeal to the young and old alike. He has received several awards all over India, recognizing his achievements at such an young age. He speaks eloquently in English, Tamil, Hindi, and Kannada. ABSS is fortunate to have the opportunity to arrange the two-day lecture in Auckland. It is a pleasure to listen to Sri.Dushyanth's discourse. ABS is committed to respect the cultural diversity of people and encourage them to follow the Hindu religious and the practices of the rich Vedic heritage of India. ABSS celebrates Hindu festivals in Auckland on such dates. ABSS invites theologians, bhajan and spiritual singers to have lecture and perform their art in pertaining to Hinduism. Today, Sridhar is going to give you a lecture on Sri Adi Shankara's magnum opus, Bhaja Govindam. Tomorrow we have got Sriman Narayanyam as Guruvayur Puvaranga at St. Tamil, which starts in the same place from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Just a friendly reminder, please put your mobile phones on silent mode, please. You've got the toilets at the back. And over to the show, please. I request Dr. Vardarajan to come and do the Kannada program.
रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरस्य महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् अविदितविषयान्तरशठारेः उपनिषदामुपगानमात्रभोगः अपितकुलवशात् पदेकशेषी मधुरकविहृदये ममाभिरस्तु ऋषिं जुषामहे कृष्णतृष्णा तत्त्वमिवोथितं सहस्रशाखां योद्राक्षीं द्राविडीं ब्रह्मसंहिताम् நல்லகோட்பாட்டுலகங்கள் மூனினுள்ளும் தான் நிறைந்த அல்லிக் கமலக்கண்ணனை அந்தன் குருகூர் ஷடகோபன் சொல்லப்பட்ட ஆயிரத்துள் இவையும் பத்தும் வல்லார்கள் நல்ல பதத்தால் மனைவாழ்வர் கொண்டவண்டிர் மக்களே சாந்திரானந்தாவபோதாத்மகமனுபமிதம் காலதேசாவதிவ்யாம் நிர்முக்தம் நித்யமுக்தம் நிகமசதசஹஸ்ரேண நிர்பாஸ்யமானம் அஸ்பஷ்டம் திருஷ்டமாத்ரே புனருரு புருஷார்த்தாத்மகம் பிரம்மதத்வம் தத்தாவத்பாதி சாக்ஷாத் குருபவனபுரே ஹந்தபாக்யம் ஜனானாம் ஸ்ருதி ஸ்மிருதி புராணானாம் ஆலயம் கருணாலயம் நமாமி பகவத்பாத சங்கரம் லோகசங்கரம். A very good evening to the gathering here. A deep sense of gratitude is what a speaker is expected to express at the commencement. There's a beautiful saying, gratefulness is a quality which should never be overlooked if we would like to raise ourselves in the world. Nandri marappadu nannandru nandralladu adai andre marappadu nandru. The same has been reiterated by another great saint, a philosopher in the Advaita philosophy called Sri Appaya Dikshita, who says, Paropakara vismritarna yujjate managapi apakriyatu tatkrita tadaiva vismritavara. So, it would not be right to start away with the topic without my gratitude. I'm miles apart from our motherland, my motherland, but I'm so happy to meet a varied, a diverse audience from speaking various languages, belonging to different states, cities, villages, and beautifully put in Sanskrit, agraharams. It is indeed a pleasure to speak at a place. When we speak in India, we speak Kerala as God's own country. The right word to say is it's God's own state. God's own country should be New Zealand, because your country is really, really beautiful. As said yesterday, there was a small gathering yesterday for the Tamil lecture. Since it's an English lecture, we have a larger gathering. There's a beautiful verse in Tamil which goes, it's the verse of a mystic saint called as Tondaradi Pudiyalvar. His name is Bhaktangri Renu. Bhakta, Tondar, devotee. Adi, angry, feet. Podi, Renu is dust. He is the dust. He wishes to be the speck of the dust which clings or gets smeared to the holy feet of the devotees. He says in his beautiful composition called as Thirumalai in Tamil, which is one of the classical languages in India, Pachaima Malaipol Meni Pavalavai Kamalachengan. Before he gets to describe about the beauty of the Lord, he starts saying that the body of the Lord represents the green-hued emerald mountain, which is Pachai Ma Malaipol Meni. This is the way in which our Agama Shastras, the scriptures which speak about how to worship in a temple speak. That the God should be beautiful, he should have a thin hip, he should have a broad chest, he should have a conch-like neck, he should have a moon-like face, he should have eyes that represent the sun and the moon, he should have coral-like lips, he should have a sesame flower-like long nose, he should have beautiful ears that represent his majesticity. He should have curly hair that spell good odor. Vasa Narunkulal Aichiyar, Vasa Narunkulal, which spell good odor. He should have a long crown. This is how our Agama Shastras describe of the Lord. But when it comes to Virat Swarupam, speaking of the Lord as this entire world, the Lord whose body is this entire world, it says that all the mountains and greenery and all the rocks constitute his body. So if I have to look at Pachaima Malaipur Meni, when we go to Sri Rangam, we see the Lord who is reclining like that. But when I go by your countryside, looking at the hills, which shape like this and then go down, and they are all green in color, this is Pachai Ma Malai Pol Meni. So, indeed very happy to be in this beautiful country of New Zealand. Akarartho Vishnuhu, the first alphabet in Sanskrit, Akaram denotes the Lord. Akarartho Vishnuhu Jagadudaya Raksha Pralayakrit. One of the greatest saints to have walked on this planet, Bhagavad Ramanuja, commences his magnum opus Shribhashyam with the alphabet Akhila Bhuvana Janmas Thema Bhanga Adilile Vinada Vivida Bhuta Vrata Rakshaika Dikshe. One of the poets in Tamil who is said to have given the jamboree of moral values called as Thiruvalluvar, who's often seen in every bus of Chennai. In his beautiful composition called as Thirukkural, starts with Agara Mudala Ezhuthellam. So Thiruvalluvar starts, so does Ramanuja, so does the alphabet language in Sanskrit, and so does your city, Auckland. So, very happy. Today, we are going to experience the beauty, the intricacy in philosophy, the unadulterated devotion, and the uninterrupted way to realize the supreme within oneself through one of the most beautiful compositions in Sanskrit by a great philosopher who was one of the propounders of the non-dualistic philosophy qualified with Maya, illusion. Maya Visishta Advaitam. Because Ramanuja's philosophy is also Advaitam, that is Guna Visishta Advaitam. Non-dualism, where it is qualified with attributes. Shankaracharya's philosophy is a non-dualism qualified with illusion, Maya. So both are Advaitis, there is just a branching out in this. So I belong to one philosophy of Ramanuja, but that doesn't stop me from appreciating the lyrical beauty, the philosophical depth and the devotion of Shankara. It should stop no one from that, ideally. So today we are going to experience that. But after Shankaracharya, of the four mutts that he established, primarily Badri, Jagannatha Kshetram, Dwaraka and Sringagiri, which later is called as Sringeri. All the four mutts, along with another important mutt in Shankara's lineage, which is the Kamakoti Peetham of Kanchi. There were many Shankaracharyas who have adorned this throne of Shankara Peetham. But when the word Shankaracharya is said, nobody can forget, or the first word and the last word that matches that Peetham is Kanchi Mahaperiyava Paramacharya, who is revered and treated as a friend by all pontiffs across faiths and philosophies. So there is no demarcation in that. Of course, there is a demarcation and difference in the philosophy. So today, you are going to hear this magnum opus of Shankara through the words of a person who follows Ramanuja's philosophy. There has been a vice versa that happened 750 years before. Ramanuja's most acclaimed, very popular, most colourful Acharya who came after Ramanuja was Swami Vedanta Deshika. Amongst his numerous works that are embroidered with poetic beauty and philosophical intricacy is a great poem called as Yadava Abhyudayam. Abhyudayam in Sanskrit means growing together. Yadava means one who belongs to the Yadu's clan. Since Krishna belonged to Yadu's clan, he was called Yadavendra, Yadava Simha. Since this poetic work of Vedanta Deshika called Yadava Abhyudayam, when we read it, we know the pastimes of Krishna, and as soon as we try realizing and enjoying the pastimes of Krishna, we start growing together along with him. So it's Yadava who's Krishna, we grow together with him, so it's Abhyudayam, Yadava Abhyudayam. So this is a composition of 2500 plus verses in chaste Sanskrit, housed in 24 sargas by this Visishta Advaitic poet of Ramanuja's philosophy, and it was commented. The commentary for this work was by none then Appaya Dikshita, who followed Shankara's philosophy. So there has always been an exchange program. In your universities you call exchange programs, right? So you relish and regard the course structure of some other university, go for a period of time, experience them, and then come back. At the same time, I need to walk so that I speak what is close to my heart. So, Bhaja Govindam, this philosophy is going to be experienced on both schools of philosophies, both Shankara and Ramanuja. Let's get to the beauty of this work. Adi Shankara was born in Kaladi, which is a beautiful village, which was a beautiful village, now it has become a town. Kaladi. And surprisingly, the three great philosophers in India, be it Adi Shankara, Ramanuja and Madhva, they all belong to neighbouring states. Shankara from Kerala, Ramanuja from Tamil Nadu and Madhva from Karnataka. And I'm basically from Bangalore, so I need to give a status higher to Karnataka. So I would rather say that philosophers from all the three schools And mutts from all the three schools were housed in Karnataka. Sringeri, Shankara Peetham in Karnataka, Madhva Peetham in Udupi, and Vaishnava Peetham was in two places. One basically Mysore, which is for Parakal Mutt, one of the earliest mutts of Vaishnavite tradition. The other two being one in Melakotai, which is Tirunarayanapuram in Karnataka, and the other place was Satyakalam, where the great poet Vedanta Deshika lived most of his life. So this is one state that housed all the three. The three states housed all the three philosophies. Shankara came at a time when the Vedic traditions had lost their value because of the emergence of Buddhism and Jainism, who said that the entire world's philosophy is nothingness, shunyam, shunyavadam, the philosophy that spoke of nothingness, unnume illa, kuch bhi nahi hai. How many of you speak Hindi? Okay, great. And how many of you speak Tamil? Excellent. How many of you speak Telugu? Okay. How many of you speak Malayalam? Okay. And where in the Bhaja Kannada. Oh, Kannada ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನಾನು ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ನೋಡಿ. So there are Kannadigas. So with my little knowledge in all the languages, I'll try getting wherever it has to hit the nail, I shall bring those languages into picture. So Shankara came at a time when he had to establish the supremacy and the authenticity of Vedas. So he said there is no philosophy which says nothing. It's simple to, it's really nice for people to talk and put forth their point. Charuvakam na per. In Tamil, in Sanskrit it's called Charuvakam. Charu means soft. Vak means speech. People go to temples. They come back. They come to know that there's a problem at their place. Someone comes and says, Swami, I've been noticing this. I didn't want to tell you that. That's why I say going to temples doesn't make any difference. After all, worshipping, what are you worshipping? See, whatever you have to bear, you have to bear. So they slowly start brainwashing. This is called Charuvaka Samayam. It's really intelligent. You just need eloquence to say this. But it needs prudence to establish philosophy. You don't need eloquence. That is what our philosophers had. Shankara had to establish the supremacy of Vedas. So he said, don't say there's nothing in this world. There is something, and that's one, and that's Brahman. People said, I see variety, I see the pillars, I see the walls, I see the curtains, I see the mic, I see the wire, I see the iPad, I see the stand, I see my kurta, I see myself. So you're saying there's only one and there aren't many? He said there is one, and all that you see as many are nothing but a substrate of Brahman plus Avidya, which is Maya. So there is Brahman, there is Maya that clings to it, and then it becomes a Jivatma. So Brahman surrounded by Maya is equal to Jivatma. This Jivatma experiences happiness and sorrows. It lives. The Jivatma, which is housed in that body, experiences all this. At some point in time, due to one of the reasons, it realizes that it is not where it is meant to be. So with the intervention of scriptures, there is a jnana which arises. There is blissful knowledge that arises. And the Jivatma, which is a complex of Jivatma plus Avidya, through the jnanam of the scriptures, the Avidya envelope, the covering of Avidya disappears. So the Jivatma, which was a complex of the Brahman plus Avidya, now again gets back to shape as Brahman. So Brahman plus Avidya becomes Jivatma. Jivatma, when it loses Avidya, it becomes Brahman again. Simple. So he said there's one in this world. Let's talk about what the other philosophers had to say of Shankara's understanding later. Now, Shankara, when I say Shankara, it's very tough for a speaker to every time say Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. So don't think that I'm trying to put a nickname. In Bengali tradition, there is a real name and a dark name. They give a pet name. So don't think I'm giving a pet name to Acharyas. It makes lectures easier. So Shankara, when he had to establish the supremacy of Vedas, he started commenting on the Brahma Sutras. To people who had yesterday and attended the Tamil lecture, you know what Brahma Sutras are. If I have to get inside it, it will become a problem. I have to again explain everything. Brahma Sutras are theorems or aphorisms which are nothing but statements where words from Upanishads or Vedas are intertwined and put forth in numbers. So intertwining the words of Upanishads into statements which are close to 500 plus by Vedavyasa, who was also called Krishna Dvaipayana, is called Brahma Sutra. Since the words represent or denote Brahman and these words are put together in statements, they are called Brahma Sutras. Since they indicate Brahman, the word Brahma comes. Since they are stringed together, they are put as a garland, it's called Sutram. Sutram means garland. Mangalya Sutram, Pushpa Sutram. So Sutram is a garland. So Brahma Sutram. So he started commenting on them. He started commenting, and when he commented, he said, for a soul to attain salvation, for a Jivatma to turn to Brahman again, all that is needed is knowledge of scriptures. Vakyartha jnanam. Vakya in Sanskrit means, I'll ask questions. Well, they didn't tell you this? I keep asking questions every now and then. As said, lectures and upanyasams in our tradition are meant for two purposes. One for realization, the other for sleeping. So inadvertently, as a byproduct of lectures, people tend to sleep. It's not an intended product, it's a byproduct. So at the end of lectures, in those days in Chennai, which was called Madras, people used to attend lectures in a place called Ayodhya Mandapam, which is in West Mambalam. So what people used to do is, to avoid sleep, they will carry a Horlicks bottle full of buttermilk. To avoid sleep, they would exercise. That's what the doctors say, keep doing something or other. They keep doing this. At the end of it, they will get vennai, which is butter. So this was a tradition. So to ensure that there is no such byproduct today, I'll keep asking questions. So tell whatever answers you can. Even if you don't know the answers, tell something, I'll say it's right. Now the rule works out well. Okay. While I was talking of Shankara's philosophy, Vakyartha Jnanam. What is Vakyam? Sentence. Excellent. A group of words, a group of shabdas constitute a Vakyam. It should be complete. Vakyam, sentence. Artham, meaning. Jnanam, knowledge. So Vakyartha Jnanam is the knowledge that arises from words. The meaning of the words. That is Vakyartha Jnanam. Simple. Now, as per Shankara, in his philosophy, he says that a Jivatma, if it has to unveil the shield or envelope of avidya, it has to read from the scriptures, read those sentences, understand, and the avidya goes. So this is his philosophy. Vakyartha jnane mokshaha. So salvation through understand or realizing the words of this. Just by reading, mere reading, Vakyartha jnana. Now, there is a slight bend here. When he said Vakyartha Jnanam, what he meant was not realization after reading the sentences. The intricacy here is, by mere reading of sentences, you get that knowledge and realization. So this is his philosophy. So Adi Shankara, after developing Advaitic philosophy, he had many great Sishyas. All of you are aware of Padmapada, Totakacharya, so on and so forth. So he started walking along with them in a beautiful city, holy city called Kashi, which is in the North India. He started walking. Earlier houses, if you remember in India, they were constructed in a different pattern. Now we have only flats and apartments, lack of space. But individual houses, Kerala used to be the haven for individual houses, but today if you see, there are only apartments in Kerala. So you have a house, and before which you've got a thinnai. Thinnai is a raised platform in either sides of the door where you invite guests and people can even sit. Today, if I have to go to someone's house, I just can't go. I need to book an appointment 10 days before. I'm coming. Are you available? And the person clearly says, I'm not available. Even if he is. Not with you all. I'm saying about something else. So they go to such houses, and today people ask, Shapda varela, aap khane aane wale hai na? How many people will come? So we have to say 2 people. What will you have? Rice or chapati? With that, what will you have? By the time you answer these questions, you'll say, okay, I'm not going to eat in your house. So many questions. A questionnaire is given. It's like primary market research. You need to fill the survey sheet and tell them. So in those days, people used to visit houses just like that. You don't have to call, you don't have to write a letter, you don't have to inform that person, you just go. And there were few recreational spots those days. People never used to go on a 4 days, 3 nights, 999 only tour. So they used to be at home, and whenever they had to cook for 4 people, they would cook for 8. Today in marriages we tell, okay, if 300 people are going to attend, cook only for 200. People are very sure that all the invitees won't come. So they are so sure. So they say cook only for 200 people. So people never used to inform that I'm coming on this date. A date in Sanskrit is tithi. We say prathama tithi, dvitiya triti, trithiya, akshaya tritiya, chaturthi, vinayaka chaturthi, panchami, naga panchami, sashti, skanda sashti, saptami, ratha saptami, ashtami, janmashtami, navami, rama navami, dashami, the 10th day, vijaya dashami, ekadashi, kaishika or vaikuntha ekadashi, dvadashi, trayodashi, chaturdashi, amavasya or paurnima. This is how we call. These are all tithis. Nik tithi paru? Shulva. Nik enna tithi paru? Today you also get an app in Android phones. It tells you what's the tithi, so you don't have to ask anyone. Everything it does, except doing Sandhya Vandanam, the iPod or iPad does everything else. So tithi. So people in those days never used to inform that I am coming on this tithi. So they were called atithi. Today we are not atithis, we are only tithis. We tell the tithi and go. So it's not Atithi Devo Bhava, it is Tithi Devo Bhava. We cannot change Vedas, that is a matter of fact, that's it. So Adi Shankara, while he was walking with his disciples, he came across a house where there was this raised platform meant for Atithis, for the guests. So he sat. They did that Shrama Pariharam in Vaishnava Paribhasha. Shrama Pariharam means take rest. Why do you have to make such complex words? Take rest is easier, right? Because we don't have knowledge of Sanskrit. Such words seem like an utopian's language. So, Adi Shankara was walking by, he sat. He saw a huge banyan tree opposite the house. Seated on the raised platform above the stairs was the Acharya, the preceptor, the Guru. Below were seated the Sishyas. In Vedic tradition, it is customary that the Acharya recites the first line and the line is repeated twice by the student. Ambasya bare, ambasya bare, ambasya bare, bhuvanasya madhye, bhuvanasya madhye, bhuvanasya madhye, nagasya prishte, nagasya prishte, nagasya prishte, mahadomahiyan, mahadomahiyan, mahadomahiyan. In Sanskrit Vedic tradition, you have to recite twice. In Tamil Prabandhams, Alvar's Prabandhams, you have to recite thrice. Because they regarded Tamil tougher to Sanskrit. In Tamil Nadu, I'm just kidding, this is a word that all of us use, kidding. People say, I'm going to protect Tamil rights. Tamil like kapom. Tamil enga kaakirudhu? Elave varla enatha kaappa? Kolambu, Alegal, Kolambu. Importance to a language is the beauty in which we pronounce the words. When you speak Bengali, the beauty of Bengali is you have to be very soft and melodious with it. It's a beautiful language. ধান্য পুষ্পে ভরা আমাদের বসুন্ধরা, তাহার মাঝে আছে দেশ এক সকল দেশে সেরা, সে যে স্বপ্ন দিয়ে দিয়ে তৈরি, সে দেশে ঘেরা। এমন দেশটি কোথাও খুঁজে পাবে না কো তুমি, সকল দেশের রানী, সে যে অমর জন্মভূমি, সে যে অমর জন্মভূমি, সে যে অমর জন্মভূমি। That's Bengali. உயர் வர உயர் நலம் உடையவன் எவனவன், மயர் வர மதிநலம் அருளினன் எவனவன், அயர் வரும் அமரர்கள் அதிபதி எவனவன், துயரரு சுடரடி தொழுது எழு எல் மனநே. நிக்கணும் தமிழ்ல. ஏ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದರೇನೋ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಿನ್ನದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಶ್ರೀನಾಥ ನಾಥ ಥ should be there, ಶ್ರೀನಾಥ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನು ದಯ ಬಾರದೆ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ, ಇನ್ನು ದಯ ಬಾರದೆ. The beauty of languages is in the stress in which you give those words. That's why, for kidding again, people who learned Sanskrit, pure Sanskrit those days, when they started speaking English, they used to say, I actually want to tell you that. The Sanskritam peshi say, everything will get stressed. அப்புறம் முன்னாடி ஆனந்தாமிருத வர்ஷினி, வாயிலேருந்து அமிர்த வர்ஷினி தான் வரும். So, every language has its own importance, but the best of all, the mother of all languages in India is Sanskrit. How did Sanskrit get a, I, I, U? They're all called aksharas. How did they get this? Lord Shiva uses a dhamaru, a vadhyam, an instrument, which gives him the beat for dance. Jadinu சொல்லுவோம் நாட்டியத்துல. தாம் தாமித தஜ்ஜம் தகதஜ்ஜம் தகதிகதஜ்ஜம் தாம் தாமித ஜம் ஜம் தகிட்டக்கனம் தகிட்டக்க தஜ்ஜம் தாம் தாமித தஜ்ஜம் தகதஜ்ஜம் தகதிகதஜ்ஜம் தாம் நீல மனோஹர ஜால மனோஹர புஜங்க நர்ஜன நீரஜ தடாக அதிமிருதுள பத நிகட தரங்கோ துங்க தாடங்க நர்த்தக நர்த்தக தாம். You give those jatis. So he needed something for dance, because Lord Shiva, the beauty is he dances. Kalai தூக்கி நின்றாடும் தெய்வமே, ஆடிக்கொண்டார் அந்த வேடிக்கை காண கண்ணாயிரம் வேண்டாமோ, இடது பதம் தூக்கி ஆடும் நடராஜனடி பணிரையே. So you need a jati. So Lord Shiva needed the jati. So he uses dhamaru. Dhamaru is like a dumbbell ne vechukongo. It starts, it's like two triangles which are attached to their vertexes in a three-dimensional way. You have a thin membrane that is seen on either sides, and there are two strings that are attached to the middle with little stones or pebbles. So when he dances, it oscillates like the pendulum. So that hits, he dances so fast that with such a force that it goes and collides with the atoms in the air. Anu na atom. So when it hits, there is an energy with a sound that emanates. This sound was recorded by Vedas. Aivunu, Rilku, Jabagata, Das. These are all crude. When you get oil from earth, do you get it like the parachute oil? You get it in a very crude form. that's processed, filtered, refined to get various products. Likewise, when the sound emanated, it came in different crude forms. So then Rishi started extracting the basic sound of every crude form. Every raga in Carnatic music has certain Jiva Swaram. When you sing phrases of ragas, you can identify only with certain swaras. Kalyanina nama varano. So these sounds that emanated, people started extracting the Jiva Aksharams. So these crude forms were put in one big sieve, they were distilled and refined, then came E. So you started getting refined alphabets from this crude form. So these were called as Aksharas. And hence the knowledge that arises from this is called as Akshara Rasi Grahanam. How do these sounds or knowledge come? From the Dum Vadhyam. Adi Shankara was walking on the street, he sat on the Thinnai, opposite he saw a tree, below which was an Acharya seated by students. Acharya would say a statement, the students would repeat. Apparently, the Acharya's Shambhu, in Tamil it's called Shambhu, what is it in other languages? Pot. That pot, certain words you can never spot in other languages. It's tough, so better understand the shape I am depicting. So the Shambhu or Kudam. Kudam is a larger thing, Shambhu is a smaller form of it. So the Shambhu that was filled with water, the Acharya probably did something like this. So it started rolling. Even today in Tamil Nadu there is a beautiful temple town on the banks of river Kaveri called Thiruvaiyaru. Ayyaru means 5 rivers. Thiruvaiyaru, the place where 5 rivers flow. Kudamurutti, Mudigondan, Arasalaru, they say 5 rivers. So there is one tributary to Kaveri called as Kudam Urutti. In those days it seems water used to flow in such a way that if a person would keep Kudam there, it would keep rolling and would flow away. Kudam Urutti Pogum. Today there is no water, then only where will we go for the Kudam and Urutti? So the Acharya's Shambhu started tumbling. The Sishyas who were down, one should have gone, rushed and picked that up and given it to the Acharya. But they kept reciting. Looking at this, Shankara felt that I have given a philosophy where I say that only knowledge is sufficient for realization, which is not the case. Knowledge alone can never help a person attain salvation. It is knowledge that needs to mature to bhakti, which will help in salvation. Bhakti has 9 characteristics. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. Idhi pumsarpita Vishnu bhaktische navalakshana. The 9 beautiful characteristics of bhakti. Shravanam, intense listening. Kirtanam, singing what you have listened. Vayinal paadi, manattinal shindika. Here vayinal paaduvadu is kirtanam. Then manattinal shindika Vishnoho smaranam. Then pada sevanam, worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord and his devotees. Archanam, to offer whatever little you have as natural sources to him, to his holy feet. Vandanam, to do an Anjali mudra, Anjalim. It's called Anjali, right? Anjali karna, Pushpa Anjali jo bhi hai. Anjali क्यों बोलते हैं उसे? Jalayati Anjalihi. If you do this before the person who looks at us doing this Anjali, it seems he'll start shedding tears from his eyes. Oh, why is this person doing it before me? I'm after all a primitive mortal. So he starts getting that feeling when you actually fold your hands together. Since this posture makes that person sob or even shed tears, it is called jalayati di anjalihi, since it makes tears flow down one's cheeks. Vandanam. Dasyam, to say that I am your servant. By servant, we are no way saying that I will do your maid servant's job or something like that. Servant is, I'm at your beck and call, I shall help you out. When you go to someone's house, people say, just give me a shout, I'll come and help you. That's Dasya. Atmanivedanam, to submit oneself. So these are the 9 essential attributes of bhakti. Shankara was reminded of it. So it is just not knowledge which will help you attain salvation. It is knowledge which needs to mature to bhakti, using karma and jnana as angas, as parts. And that bhakti is the one which will take to salvation. It is not knowledge. Knowledge arises out of the sound that emanates from Shiva's udukkai, from Shiva's vadyam. That's jnanam, akshara rasi grahanam. That's Dukram Karanam. Dukram Karanam is that knowledge. But that will not protect one person. It is only reciting the names of Govinda, the Lord, which will protect. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja. He tells to that boy there, help your Acharya out. Mudhamate. Thereby he also calls us Mudhamate. Mudhamate samprapte sannihite kale samprapte sannihite kale nahi no rakshati will not protect you. Dukran karane, knowledge alone will not protect you. So what will protect? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Swayam Prakasha, the commentator to Bhaja Govindam, says that there are 2 reasons. One, it seems the chombu that fell, the pot that fell, made that noise, duk. So, Dukran Karanam, that will not protect you. The other meaning is, Dukran Karanam is Shiva's Akshara Rasi Grahanam through his Udukke. Only knowledge will not protect you, devotion, bhakti will protect you. So Shankara's one of the last works is Bhaja Govindam. After he composed all his works, that is why this holds more importance. Vedanta Deshika had composed many works in his lifespan of 100. But the magnum opus of Vedanta Deshika is Srimad Rahasyatraya Saram, which he wrote at the last work. So when you mature and write at the end, there is more of philosophy and personal experience that comes along. I am just a man of 26, so my experiences are very few. But probably 50 years later, Bhaja Govindam, I can relate more to Bhaja Govindam. That's how it is. When you live your life, experiences teaches you, life teaches you a lesson. So those experiences become anecdotes to others. So he chose the word Govinda. Beautiful. See, as an engineer, I studied in Pilani. We used to have experiments for applied engineering. So we used to have a course called as applied engineering. We used to do experiments in the lab. So it used to be sieve analysis. So you'll have one sieve above the other, and you'll have 10 sieves with different sizes. So you need to take a shovel of sand and put it on the first sieve, hit it on either side. That gets filtered, and at the last sieve you collect some sand, and then you measure, and at the end of it they say you're an engineer. As simple as that. So when we do sieve analysis, what we get is the saram, the extract. All the other things get filtered. Asaram, alpasaram cha, saram, saratabam tyajet. So they all get filtered. Likewise, all the names of the Lord are to be put in a jaladai, in a sieve. All the names. Bhutaha, Bhavyaha, Bhavat, Prabhu, Vishwam, Vishnu, Vashatkaraha, Janardana, Vishwaksena, Padmanabaha, Ravindakshaha, Sulochanaha, Sundarrajaha, Saundaryarajaha, Vyomapurishaha, Sarangapanihi, Chakrapanihi, Varadarajaha, Devadhirajaha, Devanathaha. All these names should be put on the sieve. Keep tapping. You just get one name at the end. Govinda. When Draupadi was about to be stripped in the middle of the court of Kurus at Hastinapura, She was in her periods. It's called Ekavastra Kalam. They'll stay only on one cloth and they need to be given their space. They should be given some time to relax. But she was pulled to the court at that point in time. So she tells Dushasana, this is not the right time, I need to come before people. I'm stained with blood. He pulls her. She's about to be stripped. Nobody comes to her rescue. She says, Dhyaya sada savitra mandala madhyavarti narayana sarasijasana sannivishtaha Keyuravan magara kundalavan kiriti hari Hiranmaya bapuhu dhrita shanka chakra. He didn't come till then. Sri.Dwaraka nilaya, the one who stays in Dwaraka. Today in India we believe that the word Namaha, Namo should be said only in Dwaraka because it belongs to Gujarat. Namo Namo ni Gujarat la nilindaka. Dwaraka nilaya. He didn't come. Achyuta, the one who doesn't leave his devotees. Achyuta, he didn't come. Govinda. Wittingly, some person said, this is actually not a Sanskrit word, it's an English word, Govinda. I asked how. It seems if you recite this name, the Lord tells you, you go, and Vinda, Govinda. Maybe that applies. So she won the battle at the last. Govinda Pundarika Aksharakshamam Sharanagatam. Govinda denotes the person who rescued the earth. We all know during time ebbalachu. Apappa paaka vendiyadha. Oru naduvula ellarum elundu kalambi vittalla. So when Bhumi Devi was put to cosmic waters, it seems there was a layer of moss that formed over her. And Hiranyaksha, the one with golden eyes, Hiranyakshaha, he put Bhumi Devi inside, and all of these celestials sought the intervention of Brahma. So they were worried and they went to Brahma. Brahma is a greater person, he worries along with others. He has got 4 heads, so he started worrying with all the 4 heads. When he started contemplating on how to protect or how to bring a solution to the scenario, it seems a swine jumped from his nostril, a pig, a wild boar. He was worried. Flu is generally an airborne disease, and swine has come from his nostril. In a swine flu, swine. There'll be one big headlines. Brahma breathed in and breathed out. There was a swine that came out of his nostril. So he asked, who are you? It seems the wild boar kept his hand like this. Today in a beautiful place called as Sri Mushnam, you can support the Lord like this. He did this and he turned his face. Mahavaraha sputa padmalochana. Mahavaraha, the large boar. But the identification mark in India, we are getting Aadhaar cards nowadays. That is the identification for us. What is the identification for the Lord? What is his Aadhaar card? His lotus-like eyes. Sputa padmalochana. He turned like this. Now one person asked, why did the Varaha had to come from the nostril? He could have come from any other hole. See, people when they become experts, they start questioning. So if somebody said, why he came only through the nostril? That's a valid question. We speak in Taitrayam, Akashad Vayuhu, Vayor Agni, Agni Rapaha, Ardhya Prithivi, Prithivya Moshadayaha. From Akasham, ether, space came Vayu, which is air, wind. From air, wind came Agni, which is fire. From Agni came Apaha, which is water. From water, Apaha came Prithvi, which is earth, the 5 elements. This is the sequence in which we speak of the 5 elements, the Panchabhutas. Every element has a specific characteristic feature associated with it. Akasham, space. you can hear Shabdam. So, if you have to hear the Shabdam, ear is the sense organ. For every Panchabhuta, you'll have to map a characteristic feature and the sense organ. Space, Shabdam, hearing, you can hear with the ear. Next, from space came Akashat Vayuhu, wind. Wind you can hear as well as feel. So feeling comes with skin, the next sense organ. Next comes Vayor Agnihi. Agni you can feel, you can hear and you can see. So seeing associated with eye. Next comes Apaha, water. With all this you can taste. Taste of water is good. So taste you associated with the tongue. Finally came Prithvi, earth. The best is Gandhavati Prithvi, smell. Manvasane, the smell of the earth. So Gandhavati Prithvi, how do you smell the earth? Nose. Who is suffering at the hands of Hiranyaksha? Who is suffering at the hands of Hiranyaksha? Bhuma Devi, earth. What is a specific feature of earth? Smell. How do you smell? Nose. How did Varaha come? Through the nose. Every anecdote and every aspect of Sanatana Dharma has a meaning attached. I am not aware, that's the best way to say. Rather than saying there is no meaning, you are unaware. As simple as that. This is nobody's figment of imagination. It is a matter of fact. But being a primitive mortal, my non-contemplating mind doesn't take me to the pinnacle of realization. As simple as that. So, Bhaja Govindam. Govinda, one who protects the earth. The other meaning, the one who gives charity. During Ramavataram, Ram was asked to go in exile for 14 years. So in those days, people had a lot of properties, right? So he had lots of land. So he thought, I need to give this in charity and go. So there was one person called Trijata I'm not talking about Trijata, who is Vibhishana's daughter in Sundarkandam. There was one person called Trijata in Ayodhya. In those days, Jata means plate. Trijata means they will have three. They had so much of hair. They never used to bob, cut or do anything with their hair. So they used to have long hair. They used to have hair tied. Even men used to tie. Today that's become a fashion. People used to do it earlier. Men used to wear kundalam, makara kundalavan. Makara kundalangal irushavi மதிமுகந்தனிலே முருபல் விளையாடம் மதன மோகன குழலிசை கூட்ட மங்கைய கண்கள் மையல் காக்க மல கமஷல ஜதிலய கூட்ட மனமறிந்து மனசொரிந்து ஒன்றாயாடினே கண்ணா பிருந்தாவனம் தனிலானந்த ரசமய அற்புத நடனம் ஆடினே கண்ணா. Makara kundalam, so men used to have ear studs and rings and then they used to have tails. So this Trijata, he said, okay, I'll take all this land. He was in destitution, poverty stricken, no land. So Ram said, I'll give you a stick. You throw the stick. Till wherever that stick falls, whatever land comes in that gap, that land is yours. So this person, he tied his kacha well, veshti well, because he has to throw it right. Ram started laughing and Sita asked, why are you laughing? See, he doesn't realize that he's getting land, but if he gets such huge land, does he have money to maintain that land? So he threw. So Ram gave land in charity, so he was also called Govinda. Krishna is called Govinda the most because Gavam Indraha, the one who is the Lord to all cows. Gavam Indraha Govindaha. Susheno Kanakangatihi. Mera Varmodu Mahavaraho Govinda Sushena Kanakangatihi. Inyo Katamarika Govindaha. Govido Govidambatihi Govindaha Gavam Indraha. So Krishna is the most popular for all reasons. Hence he is called Govinda. So, the beauty about Govindas, I would like to tell an anecdote. You might have heard of Tamil verses called Nalayira Divya Prabandham, a collection of 4,000 sacrosanct, beautiful verses in Tamil, chaste Tamil, by 13 saints, not 12, 13 saints, comprising Nalayira Divya Prabandham. There, one of the greatest of all called Nammalvar, he was called Shatakopan. Shatakopan, you might have heard of this. If you have not heard of Alvar's name, there is one person who hits the ball with the bat. He is also called Shatakopan. So Shatakopan. So this Nammalvar, in his magnum opus called Thiruvaimozhi, which is the essence of Samavedam, he says, Kuni Mudugai Undaivil Nirattil Terittai Govinda. Kuni. In Ramayana, you get a character, the most interesting, colorful character there, who made a diversion in the entire story, was the maid servant to Kaikeyi called Kuni, called Manthara. She climbed up the stairs and she brainwashed Kaikeyi, who was very well affectionate to Ram. She brainwashed, she reminded her of those 2 wounds which were left unasked by Kaikeyi during the war of Sambarasura Yuddha. And she was the one who did that. She had a hunch. In Tamil, a hunch is called Kun. Since she was the lady with the hunch, she was called Kuni. But there is another Alvar who describes her. It seems she had lots of hair. She tied it up as bun. In 1970s and 80s, that was a fashion in the Indian women to have bun kondai. And they used to get flowers from the market and they used to put it around. So this poet says, how did this Manthara look? Kondai konda kodai meedu tenulavu kuni kun. Kondai is bun. Konda kodai, the lady, on that were flowers. So there was a bunch of hair, the bun, on that were flowers, and around the flowers the bees used to go around. So it was a big hunch there, and there was another natural hunch at the back. So she looked like a camel with 2 humps. Generally we call that camel a bacterian camel with 2 humps. So she looked like a human bacterian camel those days. Kondai konda kodai meedu tenulavu kuni kun. Gunda gunda ranga votti vulmagilda nadanu kendai gundu nera. This Kuni had this hunch. So this Kuni, while she used to walk up the stairs to Kaikeyi, the queen's chamber, Ram, as a young boy of 3 or 4, the age 3 or 4, used to take his bow and arrow. You know, small children, how will their bows and arrows be? A smaller bow, a smaller arrow. He used to take that arrow, fit mud balls at the end of it, and aim at Kuni's hunch. So that mud ball would go and hit the hunch of Kuni, and she used to get tickled by it. So when she used to get tickled, she used to become straight, and the kun, the hunch, used to go inside her. Again she'll come back to a position. It's just like an elasticity, the property that we talk. She used to be so elastic, she used to go like this and come back. So this act of hunch going inside and coming. Generally when people take snaps, people like me who have tummies, what we do is nanna pranayama manipom. Photo la eduthu mudichone adeda Kuni, the one with the hunch. So what she did, he aimed at her hunch. And Ram used to enjoy as a little boy, but she was very angry. Now who hit those mud balls at her hunch? Who aimed it at her hunch? Who hit at her hunch? Ram. So Alvar, the saint, sings, Kuni kunai undaivil nirattil terittai Ramanu paadirukanum. Ram, who hit at her back. He didn't say that. Govinda nutar. Krishna hit this nutar. How is this, Swami? One person commits the crime, but the accusation comes to the other person. So to this there is a beautiful anecdote that makes us understand. Pogum pidayellam avanan thalayode nundu. I'll tell you what this is. There was a kingdom, there was a king, and one of the citizens' houses, the subjects' houses, in the night time there was a thief who wanted to plunder the house. He came. To relax himself, he stood against the wall. That wall which was just laid that day fell. So this owner of the house caught that thief and put him in the court before the king. So the king asked, what's the case? He said, he came in the night to plunder my house, he's the thief. So he should have given the judgment then. But that day's Raja and today's India's Raja both are the same. They were both caught in cases. So that Raja was caught in that case and he said, why did you want to plunder the house? This person said, see, it's my occupation. I go and plunder. When we come here, adhigara pichai edukra parunga. I'm so and so, please give me money, give me money and go. Idha adhigara pichai nu peru. Adhigara thiruttu. Yes, I am a thief, he confidently said. And this king asked, why did you want to plunder? So he immediately said, it's not my mistake. There was a wet wall there. There was no indication there that it's a wet wall, be careful. So the king said, oh yeah, then it's not your mistake. Call the person who has laid that wall. So the person was called. The person said, see, I've done the job of laying the big bricks. The wet mud that was put as an adhesive between those bricks was not done by me. It was done by another person. So call that person. So that person came and said, see, it's my job to just mix that mud with water. There's another person who pours that water into the mud. So call that person. So that person came and said, see, it's not my mistake. I added the right amount of water. It was the pot's mistake. The pot was not of good quality and shape. So call the pot maker. So the pot maker came and said, I generally do good pots, but today while I was doing this pot, I was distracted by a beautiful lady who walked left to right. So call that beautiful lady. She apparently happened to be the lady who used to carry clothes to the king of that kingdom. So that lady came and said, yes, I go at the right time. Today I went at the wrong time because the dhobi did not give me those. The washerman did not give me those clothes at the right time. Call the washerman. The washerman said, see, I wash clothes at the right time, but today the problem is the stone which I use for washing those clothes, there was a Mauna Sannyasi who was seated. Mauna Sannyasi is the recluse who has taken the vow of silence. He will not talk. So that person is seated. So because he was seated, I couldn't wash my clothes at the right time. So the king gave the judgment. The mistake which has happened here is because of that Mauna Sannyasi. Pogum pidayellam amanan talayore. So the accusation on Ram was he was the one who hit those mud balls at Kuni's hunch. But the accusation fell on Krishna. Somebody does it and somebody else bears the brunt. The reason is Ram is regarded as a personification of righteousness. So even a little spock or that blot on his character is not right. So even if he had committed one, that should be thrown on another person who is born to commit mistakes. So that's Krishna. So he has made many mistakes, so let this also fall on him. Undai vil nirattil terittai Govinda. So Govinda's name is so holy, so revered, so popular, so flourished, so beautiful, so fragrant, so effervescent, so evergreen. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Gale. Nahi nahi rakshati dukring karane. Then Shankara says that wealth acquired through righteous means, spent in the righteous way for the righteous people is what that gives happiness. Anything that changes to unrighteousness in the statement I said turns awry. Arthamanartham bhavaya nityam nasti tat sukhaleshat satyam. Arthamanartham bhavaya nityam nasti tat sukhaleshat satyam. Putradapi dhana bhajam bhiti sarvatrayesha vitariti. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Artham, anartham. Artham is wealth. Anartham is that which gives you annihilation or that which gives you deterioration. Artham anartham. Wealth will not give you happiness. Wealth will give you deterioration if you do not spend it the right way. Nasti tadat sukha leshat satyam. Not even an iota of happiness will come because of it. I'll give you one instance for this. Amongst the disciples of Saint Ramanuja, there was one saint called as Kurattalvan. His Sanskritized name was Srivatsanka Mishraha. Srivatsachinha Mishrebhyo Nama Ukti Madhimahe Yaduktayastrai Kanthe Yanti Mangala Sutratam. You know, the Lord's chest, Vakshasthalam is the broad chest of the Lord. It has two places. One, he sports a resplendent gem called as Kaustubham. That Kaustubham stands as a representation of sentient things. Sentient na enna? Jivatma nu artham. Artham enna solren? The meaning of Jivatma, as per Ramanuja's philosophy, is knowledge personified with an attributive knowledge. Till now we understood everything. When you start saying these words, Sanskrit is easier than English. Jnana Ashrayam, avladhaan. In English, if I have to say, it is knowledge personified with attributive knowledge. What is this? I'll try to explain as much, whatever little I know. Jivatma is a personification of knowledge. When we say knowledge, is it anima of knowledge? Is it Harry Potter knowledge? Is it Ramayana knowledge? That is not knowledge. That is information. I used to be a great fan of Harry Potter. I used to stand outside the library waiting whether Voldemort is going to die or Harry is going to die. Whom is Ron going to marry? Is Hermione going to marry Ron or Harry? Days existed. So I used to be one of those guys who used to wait outside. And without Tamamandra Mari, morning I start that book, night I have to complete that book. But at that point in time, I thought this was knowledge. But today, until now, I was not reminded of Harry Potter unless and until I spoke. So that knowledge comes and goes. When knowledge comes and goes, it's not knowledge, it's information. Knowledge is something that stays, that can never be perished, that always needs to be cherished, that never knows annihilation, that never knows deterioration, that never knows decaying, that never knows decomposition. That's knowledge. So Jivatma is knowledge personified. Now it doesn't mean knowledge will come, knowledge will go. It doesn't mean it has 10 grams of knowledge. One taken, it becomes 9 grams. It is knowledge, complete knowledge, blissful knowledge that can never be cut, that can never be sliced, that can never be grinded, that can never be broken to splinters, that never knows thirst, that never knows hunger, that does not have parts. Apipasaha. Abdinna irukku Shastra Vakyam. So this is Atma, this is knowledge. But that has another knowledge. That's called attributive knowledge. That's called Dharma Bhuta Jnanam. See, when we see cake, a pastry, the pastry has a layer above which there is a layer of cream. But when the child says, give me the pastry, you cut and give. So you give the pastry, the cake, along with the cream. Now children are very specific. They say, I don't want the cake, I just want the cream. So though it comes as a single entity, it is still distinguished by the child as the cake with the cream and the cream without the cake. So Jivatma is complete knowledge, that is dharmi knowledge, dharmi jnanam, and above it is a layer of knowledge which is the attributive knowledge called dharma bhuta jnanam. So this knowledgeful Atma understands Parabrahman only through dharma bhuta jnanam. Sarvatra isha vihita ritihi Putradapi. So, Kurattalvan, I was talking about the Lord and his chest. Here I was talking about Kaustubhamani, which is a representation of Jivatma. There is one mole on the Lord's chest. That mole is called as Srivatsam. Srivatsam is the name of the mole. Look at his greatness. Even his mole is given a name. That's called Srivatsam. That's a representation of the insentient. Kaustubhamani is a representation of Chetanan, sentient. This is a representation of his insentient. Since this child was born as a representation of the Lord's mole, he was called Srivatsanka Mishraha. In Tamil, he was called Kurattalvan. Once he realized, he was a very rich person. Once he realized that there lives a saint called Ramanuja, I need to become his disciple, he left all his wealth and started walking along the forest to reach Ramanuja. On the way, his wife said, Swami, I am really worried. I'm worried if people will come and rob us. He said, what do we have for people to rob? So she said, don't be angry with me. I thought while you need food, I need to bring the golden vessel so that you can have food in that. This is the golden vessel. So he said, we have left all our property. This is nothing but a worthless bauble. So why should we have this? And threw that golden cup away. So when there is little wealth, that gives worries, that gives fear. When that is lost, when that is given away, when that is abandoned, then there is no fear. Simple thing. I brought this Kankanam because it's believed in our tradition that if you are Upanyasaka, you are supposed to wear this and only people record. This is our Aadhaar card. You should not be surprised, when I kept this inside the bag, people said you better wear it, then they'll ask you where did you get this from and all that. So when I have this, look at the fear that is accompanied. If I had come without this, I wouldn't have had that fear. Arthamanatham bhavaya nityam nasti tatat sukhalesha satyam putradapi dhana bhajam bhitihi. Even fathers will start doubting their sons as wealth arises, it seems. Putradapi dhana bhajam bhitihi. Kingdom is a repository of wealth. Ayodhya was a kingdom which was a repository of wealth. When Dasharatha felt that this kingdom had to go to his eldest son Ram, his other son Bharat was in KKM, which is current day Afghanistan. So he was there. So he called his minister cum charioteer Sumantra and said, see, my son Ram has to be anointed as a heir apparent tomorrow before the subjects. Call everyone. Sumantra said, your other son Bharat is not there. Why do you want to have this beautiful function in the absence of your other son? So Dasharath said, Kim nu chittam manushyanam anityamidi me matam. Look, my son is good. Everybody is good. But I'm not sure how people will react when there is a sharing of property. The father doubts his son. Putradapi dhana bhajam bhitihi sarvatra vihitagaritihi. This is the norm, ritihi. So how should I get out of it? Somebody asked Shankara, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Then he says, fine, you've accumulated so much of wealth, That realization that someone above you is within you, the realization of someone above you has created you, sustained you, and you're going to be in him. The realization of someone who's above me, in me. Jivatma kulla Bhagavan Paramatmava irukar. Jivatma oda Bhagavan unnu kuduthano nadathrar. This knowledge is what that gives ultimate happiness. It takes different periods and points of time for people to realize this. I still remember while I started giving lectures at Pilani, which was my campus where I did my grad and post-grad. I don't know, what do you call grad here? Undergrad, is it? No, grad is grad. I don't know. I did my BE and MSc, whatever you call, because some countries call bachelor's as undergrad, some call it grad, whatever. So I was there, I started giving my lectures. So my friends used to help me canvas. So they used to take those little notices and stick. They used to stick in the notice boards outside the hostels. So when I used to give lectures on Ramayana, my friends used to help. There used to be certain people in my own batch who used to mock, ridicule and say, why do you give such lectures? Don't stick such posters. They will purposefully stick some other poster, giving no space for my poster. And it's just been 3 years I'm out of campus, 3.5, 4 years. A week back while I was in Australia to Melbourne to give lectures, there was one person who wrote to me, I live in Brisbane, why don't you come here and give lectures? I would be interested in hearing those lectures. I follow your lectures on YouTube. You know who was this person? This was a person who prevented those posters from being stuck. See, life just teaches lesson in a matter of time. Mudha jahi dhanagama trishna. When we are on campus, we used to say, hey, this company pays more package. This company gives lesser package. And we used to run, oh, what is the best thing to get inside this company? So there used to be an oil company. And to get the best way to get inside the oil company, I was a chemical engineer, was to learn German. So there was a point in time when I thought the Sanskrit, whatever I've learned is just not going to help me out. Does any company say eligibility Sanskrit? Then I will be the first person to go there. Nobody says that. Even in the application forms, you don't find that language Sanskrit to get in the drop-down box. So I thought, okay, let me learn German. Enough of Sanskrit. Pono, Sanskrit. So there was an audit course called Beginning German. So I go sit in that class. I got a Deutsche cap. I got a German cap for myself. I wanted to be German. Some people want to look like that, right? So I went inside the class. The German teacher, who was called for a month, she comes. She writes on the board, Sanskrit is the mother of German. I was like, okay, wherever I go, the Sanskrit is not going to leave me. So, this search for more package is what we are all bothered on campus. But 3 years, 4 years later, when I talked to my friends who were running after packages, all of us had decent packages. So when we talk, they say, oh, I'm sitting in no man's land. Today I'm taking oil out of the earth, but that doesn't give me happiness. I'm not able to get attached to my culture. I cannot hear those lectures. When I walk by the streets of Mylapore in Chennai, I hear the buzzing sound of Vedas. I hear somebody keeping that cassette. I get the smell of the jasmine that was sold on the streets. Today I'm sitting in an utopia, no man's land. I'm getting nothing. Mudha jahi dhanagama trishna. Dhana agama trishna. The thirst for wealth, that is useless. Kuru sadbuddhim. The best is the thirst for knowledge. Kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishna. Then he says, Yellabhase nija karmopatam. Yellabhase nija karmopatam vitam tena vinodaya chetam bhaja govindam bhaja govindam. You know, in olden days in India, when the fathers used to get their daughters married, they would give those steel vessels along with the daughters. Like now today, non-stick and everything is given. Probably nothing is given, everything is bought. We buy food. Why do we have to cook? Today there is one machine where you can keep the rice over it and let it steam. It whistles thrice. Come and switch me off, come and switch me off, come and switch me off. So we do. The cooker does everything but eating. That is the only work left to us. சாப்பிட்றது மட்டும் நம்ம பண்றோம். So they used to give vessels in those days. All of you must be aware of Saravana stores, Ratna stores, and so on and so forth. So they'll give those vessels to ensure that my daughter's vessels are not taken by anybody else. There used to be a practice of tinkering. PS, DS, MS, PS, PhD, இதெல்லாம் எழுதி தருவாங்க. To ensure that the other daughter-in-law doesn't take my daughters. As simple as that. Brahma, while even before putting the layer of flesh on our kapalam, on our skull, he has tinkered it with papam and punyam. And then he has covered it with flesh. We cannot see that tinkering. So whatever we are born with, whatever karma, we have to experience that. Some people of the fact, 100 குடம் பாலால அபிஷேகம் பண்ணா எல்லாம் போயிடும், ஒன்றும் போகாது, பால் தான் போகும். You know, some people look to those magazines where they will tell you, take 10 grams of still oil, take 5 grams of ghee, mix it together, get one theory from ghee trading agency, put it and light it on every Tuesday. See, belief is different from such practices. Whatever has been mentioned in the Vedas are to be followed, not by what people say as a figment of their imagination. That's why your children may get a bit annoyed. They may say, okay, I'm spiritual, but why do you have to put me in this? Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma was never into such blind faith ever. It was over a period of time, due to society pressures, due to political turmoil, that people started incorporating and embroidering their own thoughts and traditions and started saying, see, it is very important. Jatakam nu solrom. Jatakam is Kundli in North India. Jatakam, Jateti. The life of a person, the sorrows and the happiness that a person is going to experience is determined by the movement of the planets. That is Jatakam. But I'm sitting here, the planets are somewhere. Their movement is going to determine my life, is a question. But our Vedas say, yes, they are going to be determined. Till then, we accept. But nowhere it is said that you should go 9 times around the Navagraham or go 108 times till the Navagrahams themselves are confused. Why are these people going around? That is more important, right? See, I will just give you an example. Here, there is a lot of control on the noise. Suppose if I'm going to speak about after 10:30 I'm going to shout. There's someone who's going to book me on a nuisance case. If he's going to book a nuisance case against me, whom will he go and complain to? Whom will he go and complain to? Police. He won't come to me and say you're giving me nuisance. He'll go and book there. If Navagrahas are troubling you, why should you go to them to tell them that you're troubling me? You need to go to someone who is the police to them, who administers them, who's in them, who's within them, in whom they are all vested. பொதுவா பெருமாள் பிராச்சீனமான பெருமாள் கோவில்கள்லாம் ஸ்ரீரங்கமோ திருப்பதியோ, they won't be Navagraha Sannadhi. See, when you have left and submitted yourself to the Supreme Person, what is that little less confidence or diffidence in saying that, okay, he'll protect me, anyways I'll go to the other person also and tell him that. Why? There is one that Govinda is going to protect you. He is there for protecting us. He is within us. So why go? So that confidence, that knowledge comes only when we start moving with great acharyas. So he threw that cup and said, let's go to Ramanuja. Kuratadvan said. So that thirst for knowledge is what everyone should seek. Mudajahi dhanagama krishnam kuru sadbuddhim manasi mitrishnam yellabhase nija karmopatam vitam tena vinodaya chitam bhaja govindam Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Prahlada, who was the son of Hiranyakashipu, despite having that disqualification of being a son of a person who troubles people and who's tormenting people, he could get that knowledge. Why? Because while his mother Kayatu was pregnant with him, there started bhakti. Bhakti knows no age. Let it be. For my father started doing while he was 60. We wait for that. Time and tide wait for no man. I've left all the opportunities despite being those opportunities given to me on a golden platter in my childhood. I come at 60 and I wanted to read. I read, but I can't remember. I read, I can't grasp. I read, I can't remember. As simple as that. There is no harm. It's just not impossible for bhakti and normal life to go hand in hand. Bhakti doesn't mean you'll have to leave all your parents, leave all this, put one mala and go there and say japa. It's just living. Living with belief, living with trust, living with the trust that the person who's above me, who's within me, in whom I am vested, is protecting me. Whatever happens, happens for good. That knowledge is bhakti. So that vilupta murdhanya lipikramanam navagrahas are meant for a certain function. But there is one who owns all of them, and he's the one who protects us. Why should I leave him? Suryendu Bhauma Budhavakpati Kavya Shauri Swadbhanuketu Divishat Parishat Pradana Twadda Sada Jarama Varida Sadasa Shri Venkata Jalapate Tava Suprabhatam Suryendu Bhauma Budhavakpati Kavya Shauri Swadbhanuketu Divishat Parishat Pradana. I counted the Navagrahas: Surya, Indu, Bhauma, Budhavakpati, Kavya, Shauri, Swadbhanu, Ketu, Divishat, Parishat, Pradanaha. All the 9 planets whom we revere as Navagrahas, Twadda Sadasa Charama Vatida Sadasaha. They all seek the blessings of the Supreme like how we seek. Shri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam. When I say this, my mind just goes to Tirumala, the 7 hills. When we walk in the morning for Suprabhata Seva along the wall and get inside the Gopuram, and then we walk through the silver door and then reach the golden door and then see the Garuda and then see the Dwarapalakas, step on the Kulashekara Alvar Padi and then go walk towards the lawn. That long crown, the beautiful moon-like face, the kundalam on either sides, Mahalakshmi on his chest, Vakula Malika on his chest, the beautiful effervescent garlands, the Shadagrama Mala, the Sahasranama Mala, the smell of camphor and sandal is still in my nostril. So he is there to protect. Mudha jahi dhana gama trishnam kuru sadbhutim manasi pitrishnam yalabhase nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodagachitam bhaja govindam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. So Prahlada, he started devotion at a young age. So my only request is, you're all very learned, experienced. Most of you are my mother's and father's age, and even some of them my grandparents' age. So I take this liberty as one of the inmates of your house, and I would like to say that future, going ahead, try instilling that bhakti and learning those verses at a young age. Don't say, I don't know the meaning, why should I recite? We don't know the meaning of so many things we do in life. Every morning when I get up, there are germs in my mouth, so I am brushing. By brushing this way, the germs go. By brushing this way, the germs go. I wash. It has become a practice. We get up in the morning, we just go there, we brush, we don't even know we are brushing. We are still in that aura of sleep. We just brush and come. It's practice. Likewise, bhakti should become practice rather than a choice. Prahlada was taught devotion in his childhood. That made him different. When he said that the Lord is omnipresent, did he come on an exchange program to a university and then learn all this? No. Jayamanam hi purusham yam pashyen madhusudanaha satvikaha satu vigneyaha savai mokshartha chintakaha. To that person is whom that realization will come, on whom is blessed the knowledge at his mother's womb. Amma garbathila ஆசீர்வாதம் இருந்தாதான் பின்னாடி பக்தி வரும். அது இல்ல வராது. எங்க ஊர்ல கேட்டு இருக்க மாதிரி ராமர் இல்லை கடவுள் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லிட்டே இருக்க வேண்டியதுதான். எப்படி வரும் அந்த பக்தி? When Prahlada said he is there, the Lord who is omnipresent realized then through his mouth, to his words, that I am omnipresent. Trailokyamedadakhilam narasimha garbham. He said he is there, he is here, he is there everywhere. Look at the philosophy that branches out. He is not just there in one place, he is there everywhere. He is in you, he is in me. You are asking, my dear father, that Hari enga irukkan. Hari, where is Hari? He is in that W, he is in that H, he is in that E, he is in that R, he is in that E, he is in that H, he is in that A, he is in that R, he is in that I. He is enga ella nee sollum sollilum udan. When he struck with his mace at the pillar, there emanated a sound. Bhukandam varanandam paravara viratam damba damporu dampam dim 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 dimbam aharakarakas jumpa jumpais tulyas 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 duma 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 kai kumanke etatte purna yuktam aharakarakaraf patumam narasimha shankam chakram chachapam parashuma shamishum shulapashankushastram vajram khetam kala musala gada kandam mutyugra gandam jwala kesham trinetram hala musala gadam harakeyura bhusham vande pratyeka roopam parapada nivasaf patumam narasimha jam 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 jakasham jakaram janu jani jashitam janudesham jam jakaram hum 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 hukaram hara haistakasa hum hukam hum hukaram vam bam 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 bakaram. Vanda narasimhanna, isn't it for the devotion of the child? So bhakti knows no age. Yavatvitu parjana saktaka savani parivaro raktaka. Yavatvitu parjana saktaka. How wittingly my grandfather worked with, he started his career with Imperial Bank of India. That was the name to the bank in the British regime. Later it was called the State Bank of India, SBI. So he served there for 39 years. In those days, if a person serves for more than 30-35 years, they used to revere him. 35 years he has served. Today, if we say, I've been serving this company for 5 years, what's the problem? Why are you being with this company? Better change. Change is the philosophy of life today. If I have an iPad, some version today, I get a next version the next day. Oh, you're having the older version? So everything is bound to change. So my grandfather retired, and one day he wittingly asked, India, the coffee konda, bring me coffee. We are all bothered about the filter coffee, right? Some people, what they do a double filter. They take the decoction, they put it again, the strong decoction has to come. The milk has to be boiled and it has to have that foam on its top. And then I blend both of them together and give it in a cup. The Hindu padichinu. Idella moksha anubhavam. சில பேர் வந்து எக்ஸாம் கொடுக்கிற மாதிரி இந்த ஹிந்து பேப்பரை head to tail obituary first பார்த்துருவாங்க. They are all worried. My name will also follow on that list. எல்லாரும் சொல்லுவா, please take note of this number where you will have to give this message. So நான் A to Z படிச்சு யார் என்ன அடிச்சா யார் எப்படி எல்லாம் படிச்சுடுவோம். So my grandfather said, I need coffee. So he was retired then. My grandmother said, get in there, Kadingo. Wait, I'll bring. So he told me, retire at a problem. Yavadvito. Till there is money, till there is position, people will respect you. Once it goes, they won't. Yavadvito Pajana Sakta. It was just wittingly I said, my grandmother is a very good lady. Yavadvito Pajana Sakta Savanija Parivaro Pascha Jivati Jarade Vartam Kopina Pruchatige Bhaja Govindam. Thundaradipudi Alvar, whom I mentioned at the start, the mystic saint, he says, Pini Pashi Vedam Nuru Pirayam Nuru Manishartam Puguvarenum Padi Urangi Pogum. He says the philosophy of life, you live for 100 years. Ideally, Vedas subscribe that a man should live for 100 years. Shatamanam Bhavati Shatayaf Purusha Shatendriya 100 வயசுக்கு இருன்னு சொல்றா. நமக்கு அர்த்தம் தெரியல, ஓச்சிருச்சுன்னு வந்துடும். 100 வயசுக்கு அவன் இருப்பான். Shata 100, 100. Your lifespan is 100. In a day, roughly, if we assume we sleep for 5 to 6 hours, to 8 hours to 9 hours, afternoon 1 hour, laptop நாங்கள்லாம் பார்த்துட்டே தூங்குவோம். That is 1 hour. Put together 12 hours in a day னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. 12 hours into 365 into 100. So half your lifespan goes sleeping. Vedam 100, Pirayam 100, Manishartha Puguvarenum பாதி உறங்கி போகும். பாதி உறங்கியே போயிடுறது, பாக்கி மிஞ்சிருக்கிறது இவ்வளவு. The rest, the remaining. Set theory we read something called complement. In the universal set there is A na. A complement is what is remaining. So A complement, life complement is what remains. Sleeping complement. பாதி உறங்கி போகும் நிம்மை 15 ஆண்டு. In that remaining lifespan, பேதை, you are at a stage. You know, all the world's a stage. Is a beautiful poem from As You Like It. அப்படிங்கிற ஷேக்ஸ்பியரோட drama, beautiful. It's actually a play come a poem. My great grandfather was an advocate, a Harikatha Upanyasakar, and great எங்கயோ அவர் 3 ஜன்மம் இப்போ எடுத்துட்டு இருப்பார். அந்த அளவுக்கு டைம் பீரியட் வச்சுக்கோங்க. So he was also an honorary lecturer for Shakespeare in English at the Auxilium College in Vellore. So he used to get inside the class and he used to say, so he used to narrate anecdotes of Shakespeare. It seems Shakespeare used to call his students and tell, okay, I'm going to tell you this play. So he used to enact the play. And at the end of it, one student asked, it's a beautiful play, sir. What would you want to call it? Shakespeare said, As You Like It. So it got its name that way. In that, King Jakes gives a beautiful narration of the stages in life. 7 stages of life. All the world's a stage. And all the men mere players. There are mere entrances and exits. And the first thing he says, the child vomits in birth. Pedai, Alvar solrar. Next, the child carries the bag. He says, Shakespeare, here, Balan. I don't know about here in India. If you go with lot of books, lots of books to school, you're a kindergarten student. If you go with no books, you're a college student. Free of books, you just go just like that and come. Then you're a college student. If you carry many books, konda kodai nidan mona, then you're an LKG student. பேதை பாலன் என்பு அதாகும் நுட்டார். அதுன்னு ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம். What adu means that he doesn't mention that stage of life because Thundaradipudi Alvar has gone lot of turmoil in that stage of life when he was young, a teenager. Between the age of 15 to 21, I always feel that Katrina Kaif is most beautiful. She's even more beautiful than the chemistry exam which is just tomorrow. It takes another 6 years for me to realize that chemistry should have been more beautiful than Katrina Kaif. Adagum pini pashi mopu tunbam. ஆதலால் பிறவி வேண்டேன். That is why I don't want a birth again. I've already undergone a lot. Arangama nagararulani, the one who sleeps amidst the two tributaries to Kaveri on the beautiful island, amidst the 7 prakarams or walls, on the Seshapitham, below the Vimanam of Pranavam, with 2 pillars that represent gushing emotions called Tirumana Thungal, on the serpent couch. Sapta prakara madhye sarasija mukulodvasamane vimane Kaveri madhyadeshe mrudukara paniraat bhoga paryanka bhage Nidra mudra viravam katini ghatatata parshva vinyastahastam Padmadatri karabhyam sarasija mukulodrangarajam bhajeham Ranganadana the Srirangam kannukkulla nikkanum. When I think of that Srirangam, my eyes should just behold the beauty of the way in which the Lord walks the streets. Gaja Simha Gati Viro Shaduta Prishabhopamau Ranganu சொல்லி அந்த தோளுக்கு ஞான தூக்குவா. இதெல்லாம் அவள் பள்ளம் விழுந்திருக்கும். The mark that represents of lifting that palanquin for such long time. அதோட வருவா. அவளை சேவிக்கிறது தான் அழகு. The way they sway here and there to mark how the Lord walks is that which adds beauty to that abode of Ranganatha. Yavat vito pajana sakta savani jay parivaro rakta. When you lose your position and wealth, respect goes. When you turn old, when we start turning old, with more agony on the physical, the domestic, you won't believe, while I was in Indonesia, there was a session for the children. So I had a 6-year-old kid, I had a 10-year-old kid, I had a 3-year-old kid. So all these children were seated. So I wanted to say that you need to respect your parents. So how do I start? So I said, okay, you guys go to exams and you all write those answers. Have you ever felt that when you write those answers, oh, I just learnt it, but I forgot. So they all said, yes, I feel that. I learnt it, but I forgot. So I said, what could be the reason? What could be the reason? I was expecting all chotu answers. One 2nd standard child got up and said, maybe due to domestic problems? Like, okay. So I'm not going to say a word after this. So I asked the other one, oh, hi, where do you live? He said, oh, you're invited to my house. I said, oh, that's so nice of you. But if you're going to come this week, we're going to stay here. And next week we are shifting to another house because this was bought by my father for investment. It's like I don't even know what is investment now. So, getting old adds a lot of domestic problems or a lot of physical agony. It is then Yavedvito Pajana Sekta Nija Parivaro Raita Pasha Jivati Jarade Vartam Kopina Vartam சொல்லும்போது வாட்டர் வந்துடுது Vartam Kopina Prichadige Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Some people, when we talk, there's, the way they talk is, oh, that's the area where we stay. Excellent. We have 2 other houses in the other locality. We bought it for $1 million. That's great. Excellent. உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா அந்த பிரசிடென்ட் இருக்காரு, I've got that president. See, relationship should come through knowledge. I know this person who sacrificed his entire life for educating Visishtadvaitic philosophy to his students. I know him. That's pride. Because that knowledge never perishes, that never goes away. If I tell that I know this president, anyhow there's going to be another person who's going to take that role. He's going to lose that position. So why talk of things that are temporary in nature? Talk something which is permanent in nature. Guru dhana jana yauvana garvam harati nimesha kalatsa Guru dhana jana, dhana wealth, jana folks, yauvana youth, beauty, garvam harati nimesha. Harati, they will all be taken away in a minute. Be it wealth, be it folks, be it beauty. Harati nimesha kalasarvam. Here comes where I need to explain what is Shankara's understanding and what is Ramanuja's understanding. Maya mayamidam akhilam Maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha viditva Bhaja Govindam. Maya, the word Maya is more now a common name rather than the concept. Maya na enna? Shankara says Maya is sadasad vilakshanam. It is there, it is not there, and it is there. It is real, unreal, but real. I see a mirage on the road. Kanal neernu solluvom. I can see it. I go closer, it goes farther. I go closer, it goes farther. How much ever I go, I still can't see it because that isn't there. But it is there because I can see. It is there, but not there, but there. Real, but unreal, but real. Sadasat Vilakshanam. So Maya are those upadhis, are those hindrances that prevent the Brahman, the Jivatma, from realizing that it is the same as Brahman. So when that Maya goes away, then there is realization. Or for realization, the Maya should go away to realize. This is the concept of Maya. So he says, Maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha vidhitva. So to attain Brahma, this Maya should go away. And that can go away only by Bhaja Govindam. Here, Ramanuja begs to differ. He says, this is one concept of Maya which Shankara says. To Ramanuja, Maya is not real but unreal and real. To him, Maya is the unexplainable concept or fantasy of the Lord to play. I'll explain what it is. It's tougher to give definitions. The Lord plays, and his play is this world. And in this world are people born, they live, they die, and are born again. They live again, they die again, they are born again, they live again, they die again, they are born again. So it's a cycle. So this play, this act of letting people born, then sustaining them, then again making them born, then with the Papa Punya Rupa Karma, there is one equation that happens. So creating this game is done by the Lord, and since he does this, he is called Mayan, and this play is called Maya. So it is not real but unreal, it is the Lord's play. Mayane mannu vada madurai maidane mayane mannu vada madurai maidane mayane. Their Andal, the mystic poetess, Tamil poetess, when she calls the Lord as Mayan, she doesn't say he is real and unreal. She says the one who plays with us. So this entire world is a play. To get out of this play and to reach him, it is only Bhaja Govindam is Ramanuja's take. Though the take of Maya, the word, has been interpreted by Shankara in one way and Ramanuja the other, the way to reach Brahman is the same. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. There are 4 things that one is expected to believe, follow and practice. Gita, Ganga cha Gayatri, Govindeti Hridisthite. Chaturgagara samyukte punarjanmana vidyate. Punarjanmam, rebirth will never occur to a person who knows these 4. Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Ganga, the holy waters of Ganga. I cannot say the clean waters of Ganga today. Holy waters of Ganga. Holy waters of Ganga. Gita, Ganga cha Gayatri, the mantra Gayatri, Govindeti. Govinda is the name of the Lord. This itself is Bhaja Govindam. Hridisthite. So one should realize them from the bottom of the heart. See, Ganga Snanam is something that people do on the day of Diwali, Deepavali or Diwali, whatever. The Sanskrit word is Deepavali. Deepam is lamp, Avali is a row. So you keep a row of lights, so it is called Deepavali. But it later came in the North India as Diwali. Diwali is not a Sanskrit word. Deepavali is a Sanskrit word. Whatever, whether it's Diwali or Deepavali, whatever we practice is the same, right? So on the day of Diwali, we get up early in the morning and do a snanam called as Ganga Snanam. Even in New Zealand, you must be doing that. But where is Ganga? Ganga is not just the river where we need to go. The place where we speak of her and think of her, that water turns Ganga. So these 4 things are very important. Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, Govinda. Of these 4, Adi Shankara mentions in this. Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Dhita Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Dhita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Bhagavad Gita Kinchita Dhita Ganga Jalalava. What is the time? Kanika Pita Sakrida Piyena Murari Sakrida Piyena Murari Samarcha Kriyate Dasyayamena Nachacha Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. இப்படி காமிச்சா கோவம் வந்துடும். மூடமதே அவா காமிச்சுக்க வேண்டியது அவளுக்கு. Bhagavad-gita. நம்ம பாடினா we all sing. Shri Gananatha Varavina Mridupani Kamalaja கருணா புதேயே கேரய நீரனு கரகே ஜல்லி. This is all the Geetam we learn. The most beautiful Geetam is sung by the Lord. Ananyas chintayanto mage jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge 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 yuge. Tell me, are the Geetams that we sing beautiful, or the last two verses which the Lord has sung is beautiful? So this is the Geetam we sing. The Geetam that he has sung is Bhagavad Gita, the song of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita kinchit adhita. Even a person who has mastered an iota of it. Or Ganga Jalalava Pita. Ganga has come from the holy feet of Mahavishnu. Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita. The one that has flowed from the lotus feet of the Lord, Ganga, or the one that has flowed from his lotus mouth, which is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, ya Ganga. Whoever knows, Sakridapiyena Murari, Sakridapiyena Murari Samacha. One who has realized the holiness and the potential of Bhagavad Gita and Ganga truly, honestly, sincerely, wholeheartedly, to that person, he doesn't have to worry about death. When they are getting old, that little fear will come. If one says, people may say, I'm ready to die at any point in time, and that comes, that is really, really tough. I'm not saying it with experience, I'm saying with what our acharyas have said. I still remember my great-grandfather, his name was Pattavirama Iyengar. Every time I would go on vacation, he would call me and say, Vainga, tell Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. You're always troubling me, I would just leave away and run. That was the first time I had seen somebody in the hospital. It was a proper setup. People might be following Dr. House, the English series, where he walks. I've seen this medical setup there in the English series, and prior to it, I've seen it at my great-grandfather's hospital when he was on the bed. People knew he's going to die. The doctor said, okay, call all your relatives. I have the youngest. At that point in time, I was thin. So I could go closer. I was quite flexible then. So there used to be that monitor that shows that graph. Straight up, so I saw, and while I was just seeing that, my great grandmother said, he's saying something, he's uttering something, just go listen to what he said. So I went closer. You know what he was saying? Kamala kuchachuchuka kumkumato niyata runita tulani latano kamala yadalo chanalo kapate vijayi bhava venkata shailapate. Kamala kuchachuchuka kumkumato niyata runita tulani latano kamala yadalo chanalo kapate vijayi bhava venkata shailapate sachaturmukha shanmukha panchamukha pramukha kila daivata maulimane sharanagata vatsala saranidhe parivalaya mamrusha shailapate. It is a tribute and a salute to the Lord and the Goddess. At that point of time, he started with Kamala. My great grandmother was also called Kamala. So I said, Paati, umpere solrar. Nalla kelunar. Kamala, empere solla Perumal. So very few people get this opportunity to think of the Lord. Not all. சாதாரணமாக நன்னா இருக்கும் போதே நினைக்கிறது இல்லை, அங்கே எங்கே நினைக்கிறது. So it becomes very important that one wins over that fear, because we believe Yama is the god of death. and anything in the southern direction is the path towards Yamaloka, to the abode of death. In India, we'll say South India. Wrong. We are still in the northern hemisphere. You may think New Zealand is in the southern hemisphere. Still, anything is a direction with a reference point. For me, this is north. That's it. When you take sun as a reference, that's different. That's why even the stock market, when the prices go down, they'll say the price is going southwards. Correct? So Yamadikku. So the person is the one who has won over death. If he thinks of Ganga and Gayatri, if he thinks of Gita and Govinda, to that person he doesn't have to argue with Yama on his deathbed. Kriyate tasya yamena charcha. He doesn't have to do a charcha, the argument with Yama. He'll welcome death. It's Vedanta Deshika, again, the person whom I love the most. In Ramanuja's philosophy, he says that a person, after having propitiated to the God through an acharya and lives his life, he should count his days like a bride who counts her marriage date. If we are now in October, suppose October 30th is the date of marriage fixed for the bride, she'll keep counting 25 days to go, 24 days to go, 23, 22. So the person who has propitiated wholeheartedly to the Supreme Person, he should start counting. The time for me for my departure is nearing. It's just one day less. It's just another day less. கண்ணாளத்துக்கு நாள் கோடித்த பெண் போலே இவன் தான் இருக்க வேண்டும். The one, என்ன அழகா சொல்லியிருக்கா பாருங்க, the right simile, the comparison. Similes have been the heart of Indian literature. The girl walks like the swan. The man walks like a lion. மாத்தி சொல்லப்படாது. அண்ணன் நடைன்னு அவதான், என்ன நடை அண்ணன் நடைன்னு அவரது பதில் இல்லையா? Similes. Using appropriate words at the right occasion. Thinking that I'm a good speaker, somebody says, okay, my daughter's marriage is getting fixed, you need to just say a few words. Because it's been customary in the Western world, you'll have to tap at the glass and say, everybody listen, and you need to give a speech, right? Somebody calls me on the stage and says, just say a few words. Kalyanam nadandirukku. Ayyo manamakkale. ஆரம்பிக்கும்போதே ஐயோன்னு ஆரம்பிச்சா ஏன்னா கூட்டோமோன்னு யோசிப்பா. So using appropriate words is very important. That comes with literature knowledge. Kriyate tasya yamena charcha Bhaja Govindam. When Ram left to the forest, Sita said, I'm going to come. Ram said, you're never used to forest, so better stay. It's not as tamed and nice as South Island in New Zealand. It's very rough and tough. You cannot come. She said, I'm going to come. I packed my baggage long back. While I was at the age of 6, there was an astrologer who told my father that your girl will live for 14 years in the forest. So at that point in time itself, I packed my luggage. I've returned to Dandakaranyam forest and kept that baggage. So she said, okay, I'm going to come. Both the husband and the wife walked out of their chamber. Their feet was clinged to by Ram's brother called Lakshman, who said, Sabhratushvaranau gadham nibhidhya raghunandana Sita uvacha atishayam raghavam cha mahavratam aham sarvam karishyami jagrataha swabadaschate. Sita, my mother, do you know to wash utensils? She said, no. Do you know to wash clothes? No. Do you know to cook? No. She was a modern girl. She said, no. At least today we say, I know to make Maggie. She didn't know that also. So Lakshman said, when you know nothing, you better take me. I'll do all of this. Aham sarvam karishyami jagrataha swabadaschare. Ram said, while you're in the forest, Lakshman, I cannot give you all the comforts that you have today. You'll not have the best of the furniture. You'll not have the best of the clothes. You'll not have jewelry around you. It's going to be tough, he said. That time, Lakshman said, don't worry. The roots of the trees, the broken and dilapidated temple buildings, even if found, they will be the best comforts for me. I don't desire the best of food. I can live on roots and tubers. I don't need the best of the maidens to serve me. I shall serve myself. So for Ram, he was ready to sacrifice his comforts and was ready to accept those things as comforts which are actually not comforts. Suramandira taru moola nivasaha. Sura mandira taru. Mandira buildings. Taru roots. Moola nivasaha. Where will I sleep? On a sleep well mattress? No. Shayya bhutalam. I will sleep on the ground. Ajinam vasaha. I will not wear pothis or Chennai silks. I will wear ajinam vasaha. All the comforts I shall abandon. All the comforts I shall sacrifice. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyagaha. Do you think, Ram, that happiness will never come by sacrificing comforts? They will. When I have obtained a greater happiness like you. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. Suramandira taru moola nivasaha. Shayya bhutalam ajinam vasaha. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyagaha. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. We believe our philosophy is cyclic, not linear. We are born, we live, we die, we are born again. We live, we die, we are born again. It's cyclic. Punaravijananam, Punaravijananam, Punaravimaranam, Punaravijananam, Punaravimaranam, Punaravijanani Jathare Shayanam, Iha samsare Bahudusthare, Kripaya, Kripaya Vare, Pahi Murare. Science gives a reason why a child may cry at the birth. There are doctors here, there are biologists, there are scientists. Reasons are given. Religion gives one reason why a child cries at birth. Religion gives. When in the mother's womb, each of us as a fetus had complete knowledge of Brahman. Even if we are not like that now, once upon a time in mother's womb we were like that. Purna Brahma Jnanathudana irunno. Alvar says, Karuvaranga tutkidandhen Kai toludhen kandhen Tiruvarangan meya disai. Karuvarangattu utkidandhen. I was inside my mother's womb. At that time itself, Kai toludhen, I saluted. Kandhen, I saw. What did you see? Tiruvarangan meyan disai. I saw Srirangam while I was in my mother's womb itself, he says. So we were all the Brahma Jnanam in our childhood, while within the fetus. But with the process of crowning, when the child puts the head out and then they pull out of the mother's uterus. So she tries to push and the child comes out. So for the first time, the child is exposed to the external air. As per our philosophy, we speak in science, nitrogen 78%, the oxygen 20.02, India has pollution on the 29 by 89. Baki impurities, carbon, those all wrong. But composition of air as per Shastras is 99.99% air composes of a component called Shatam. Shatam is a component of air. When it touches the person's head, the skull, the power to remember goes away. The child has had complete memory and remembrance of the Lord inside the mother's womb. When the child is exposed for the first time to the external atmosphere, the shatam, the component of the air, attacks the child's head. So the child forgets what it has remembered, unable to speak, unable to express. That I have forgotten, that is very much important. The child cries. We want to tell something to someone. We go to that person, we stand before him. I've come to say something. Everything we remember, but we don't remember what we wanted to say. We feel like hitting and banging our head on the wall. Likewise, the child it cries, but to us it's pomp and show. Oh, the child has cried. Very good. Welcome to our family. You have also forgotten like how we have forgotten. Yeah, and thus religion gives a reason. That is why the same Shatam, which is a component of the air, wanted to attack a child that was born in the district of Tirunelveli at Alvar Tirunagari in Tamil Nadu, in India, in Asia, in the world. And when that Shatam Vayu was about to attack the child said, "You don't have to attack me. I am born to enlighten people. I am born to bring the essence of esoteric knowledge in simple language Tamil. I have to bring it as Thiruvaimozhi. Don't come and hit me. If you hit me, I shall forget. If I forget, I can't write. So I need to remember, I need to write. I need to write, I need to enlighten. So you don't hit me." So with anger, the child hit that component of the air called Shatam. Kopam is anger, Shatam is that component. Since it thrashed that Shatam component with Kopam, he is called Shatakopan. So, we are all born, we forget, but he didn't forget. But we should not forget that there is one person who has forgotten, who has not forgotten this. So this is just a vicious cycle. Karma, Vidyadi Chakre, Avidya, Karma, Vachana, Vasana, Ruchi, Prakriti Sambandham. It's a cycle. So how do I get out of that cycle is a question. Jani, this circle is called Jani, the cycle of birth and death and birth and death and birth and death. It's called Jani. The one who cuts it and helps you get out of it is the one who cuts it. He cuts the Jani circle, so he's called Janardhanan. In Kerala, there's one beautiful place called as Varkala, where the Lord represents Janardhanamurti. He's in the posture of Achamanam there. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jathare shayanam, iha samsare bahudustare kribayavare pahimurare. Again, getting back, Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, Govinda. Gayatri, what is it? The name of the auntie who stays next to me. Gayatri. Not that Gayatri. Gayatri is the name of a meter in Sanskrit. In English, we say that a 14-line poem is called a sonnet. In Japanese, there is a way of writing, it's called haiku. So you have 7 syllables, you have 4 syllables, and then you have, that's a structure. So this is a meter in Sanskrit. If a shloka, if a verse has 4 parts, where each part has 8 alphabets, 4 parts, each part has 8 alphabets, 8, 8, 8. 8 into 4, 32. So if a Sanskrit verse has 32 alphabets where there are 4 parts, each part with 8 alphabets, it's called Anushtup. Vishnu Sahasranama is in Anushtup. Anushtup Chandaha. Instead of 4 padams, if there are only 3, then it is 8 into 3, 24. Then that meter is called Gayatri. In Vishnu Sahasranamam, Vana Mali Gadi Shargi 8. Shanki Chakri Cha Nandaki 8. Shrima Narayano Vishnur Vasudevo Bhirakshatu 8 into 4, 32. Whereas a mantra which has only 24 alphabets is called Gayatri. There are many Gayatris. The most famous Gayatri is the one that we recite before the sun, called as Surya Gayatri or Savitri Gayatri. So that is Gayatri. Ganga we have explained, Gita we have explained, Govinda we have explained. So he says, Geyam Gita. In Mahabharata there are 5 gems, 5 ratnas in Mahabharata. Viduraniti, Yakshaprashnam, Sanatsujatiyam, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranamam. The last two, Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranamam. Bhagavad Gita told by the Lord, Vishnu Sahasranamam spoken about the Lord. Bhagavad Gita spoken by the Lord, Vishnu Sahasranamam spoken about the Lord. The question was put forth by Arjun, the third amongst the brothers of Pandavas, to Krishna, who answered. The answers and questions became Bhagavad Gita. The eldest of the Pandavas, called Yudhishthira, posed questions to Bhishma and the answers became Vishnu Sahasranama. Here he asked, standing before us, my uncle, my aunt, my chittappa and everybody, how can I fight with them? That is Bhagavad Gita. Yudhishthira asked, Kimekam Daivatam Loke, Kimbapyekam Parayanam, Stuvantakam, Kamachantaha, Prapnayur Manavashubam, Godharma Sarvadharmanam, Bhavata Paramavataha, Kinjavan Muchade Jantuhu, Janma Samsara Bandanath, who is the one who is to be worshipped, who is the only one who has to be taught, who is the only one who has to be remembered, who is the only one attaining him, where we will attain moksha, who is the only one who takes us along the path, who is the only one whom we should recite. The only answer to is Devaki Nandana Srashtha. The one who is the son of Devaki, who stands next to you, stealing butter and playing with the girls, is the one who is to be recited. Devaki Nandana Srashtaha Kshitishaha Papanashanaha. Yeshame Sarva Dharmanam. He is the one who is the dharma of all dharmas. Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam. So 2 works, one is Bhagavad Gita, one is Vishnu Sahasranamam. Both were recited on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That is why Kurukshetra is not a sadharana kshetram. Dharma kshetre Kurukshetre. So 2 works, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranamam. Surprisingly, both these works have the commentary of Adi Shankara. Bhagavad Gita with Shankara Bhashyam, Vishnu Sahasranamam with Shankara Bhashyam. So these 2 works are very close to his heart. So he says, one amongst the 2, both of them, or at least one amongst the 2, an iota of it, if you learn, it will be great. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Both of these are about whom? Dhyayam Shripati, the one who is the Pati to Shri, Vishnu. Dhyayam Shripati Rupa Majasram Nyayam Sajjana Sangye Chittam. Move with great, pious and devout people. If you want to move, recite the first 2. That will put you to that group. Deyam Dina Janaya Chavitam Bhaja Govindam. Whatever said and done, nothing is possible without the intervention and grace of a guru. In Ramayana, there are 2 instances. Ram goes to the forest. He attends Guha, the hunter who lives in a place called Shringi Bherapuram. So when he goes to Guha, out of love and affection offers fruits and vegetables to the Lord to eat. Ram says, I am on a diet. Everybody is on a diet these days. They take only salads, they won't take this. So Ram said, I want to become size 0, I won't take all this. So take this away. Later when he walks in search of Sita, he comes to the ashram of Matanga Rishi. The place where Matanga Rishi ashram stood is today called Matanga or Matunga in Mumbai. And that's a place really special. I live there. I live in Matunga in Bombay. So while he walked to Matanga ashramam, Matanga was not there. He had left the most faithful and devout student of his called as Shabari, who was a Shramani. He had left Shabari. And Shabari had collected fruits from longer time. There is a misconception that she took those fruits, started biting them and gave it to Ram. Just go backwards and think. Ram, who is a personification of dharma, who is to be the role model, if he accepts things where people bite and give, then your child will accept anybody who goes on the street and eat. And if you tell don't eat, then he'll say, no, Ram himself did, why should I not do? Doesn't it hit your logic? People may say, out of devotion she gave. No. She, nowhere in Ramayana it is said that she took those fruits to her mouth, she tasted and gave. It is said that realizing that Ram is going to come to her hermitage, she started collecting fruits. See, there is a difference between tasting and collecting and just tasting. I go to a temple. Before going, I need to buy fruits. I want to buy a bunch of grapes. I take one grape out of the bunch, put it inside my mouth. Very nice. Pack 1 kg of this. Does it mean I've tasted and given? It means I've found the best of the fruits. Likewise, Shabari would go to a tree. She would pick an apple, taste it, and find that the apple is good. She would collect the apples from that tree. She would dry it and make it dry fruits. So nowhere in Ramayana it is said, but you may say, no, I have seen Ram eating. You would have seen in B.R. Chopra and Ramanand Sagar serials. They have not listened to my discourses, so nowhere is it said. So don't have this misconception. Then that Lakshman Rekha, Lakshman drew that line, she did not cross that. In none of the 127 versions of Ramayana in any language is the concept of Lakshman Rekha. In India, there is only one Lakshman Rekha. To drive away the cockroaches, we buy one. We draw that line, it doesn't cross. It's called Lakshman Rekha for cockroaches. So in Ramayana, there is no Lakshman Rekha. I don't know, over a period of time, there are a lot of things that go around the scripture where people strongly believe. If I say that it's not there in the source, they refuse to believe. It's difficult to learn. It's even more difficult to unlearn what you have learned wrongly. So Guru is very important. While Ram walked to the ashram of Shabari, she gave those fruits, he started eating. Isn't this prejudice? While Guha gave fruits, he said, I'm not going to eat fruits. While Shabari gives fruits, he takes. So people may say, now Ram is more partial towards women. Right, that's a conclusion. No. Remember, Ram is a personification of dharma. Dharmo vigrahavan adharma viratim. He would never do any act without meaning. Any acceptance in this world, even if we have to sit and lecture, you can never say that I am a person who is realized by my own and I have come here and no, you need Acharya's kataksham. Only through an Acharya sambandham you can give lectures. You cannot just come up and say, I've learned it from CDs, I read books, I went to internet, Wikipedia taught me. Wikipedia teaches so many necessary and unnecessary stuff. It is very important that you need to go to a preceptor, learn from him and then say. Guru Sambandham is very important. Guha, they never had Guru Sambandham, he offered. Shabari offered fruits because her Guru Matanga had said you must offer fruits. But now comes the question, Guha would have not found a Guru, is it his mistake? Remember, the first day when Ram stayed, he did not take fruits. The second day, he accepted fruits from Guha. By the time he realized that there is no Guru for him, I shall become his Guru, and he accepted. Guru Charana Puja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsara Chirad Bhava Mukta Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Drakshyasi Nija Hridayastham Devam. Without seeking refuge at the holy feet of Guru, you cannot do. Comes a question. I am a human being, he is a human being. He has a liver, I have one. He has a heart, I have one. He has a stomach, I have one. He has an esophagus, I have one. He has small intestine and large intestine, so do I have. He has 2 hands, he has 2 legs. In what way is he superior to me? Nobody says by body he is superior, but by knowledge he is superior. Karunyad Shastravanina. Acharya is the Lord himself who comes with the book of Shastram and teaches. Shasanad Shastram, that book which tells you to live this way is called Shastram. Shasanad Shastram. Guru Charana Ambuja, lotus. His Charana Ambuja, his feet are like lotus. Guru Charana Puja Nirbhara Bhaktaha. When you resort to the feet of your Guru, you can live fearless. Nirbharaha. That is why when the prime disciple of Ramanuja, he threw that gold vessel, he said, you have thrown it now live fearlessly. When Arjuna resorted to the feet of the Lord said, you have resorted to my feet, don't worry, ma shuchaha. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. When you have resorted to my feet, why worry? Don't worry. In Kanchipuram, the beautiful place where silk saris are sold, where great Kanchipuram idlis are made, there is also another great place where you'll have to see the beauty of Lord Varadaraja. He holds a hand and on that are inscribed and engraved in diamonds, Ma Shuchaha. You've come to me, don't worry. These are taken from Gita. Guru Charana Bhuja Nirbhara Fearless Bhaktaha Samsarada Chirad Bhava Muktaha. At that point in time, you are liberated. Again comes a difference in Ramanuja and Shankara's understanding. Shankara says that when you realize that avidya is enveloping you and that avidya goes away and you become one with the Brahman, even while you are living, you have attained moksha. Jivan Muktal. Ramanuja says, you even then, till the body, the soul resides in the body, it has to stay, and after the death of the soul, at death of the body, the soul has to depart and then go, and there is an abode where muktas stay. He agrees with Jivan Mukti. Ramanuja agrees, but Jivan Mukti is not agreed the way Shankara agrees. Shankara says you are mukta, but Ramanuja says you can live like a mukta. What you can do is, you can keep serving the Lord. When you are liberated, you serve the Lord eternally. After you have done your Sharanagati, you can lead your rest of the life like a mukta. You can do service to the Lord. So Jivan Mukti is not the way Shankara has thought. Shankara has thought it in one way, Ramanuja has thought it in one way. We become totally primitive to say which is right, which is wrong. Whichever appeals to you, you can follow. Saint Guru Charana Bhuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha Samsara Ajirat Bhava Muktaha Sedriya Manasa Niyamadevam Drakshyasi Nija Hridayastham Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Kanchi Mahaprabhu. There was one great Bhagavatar, one who used to give lectures. His wife came up to him and said, we have a daughter called Kamakshi, she needs to get married, we don't have wealth accumulated for that. Go ask Mahaprabhu to give some wealth. He said, I can ask for Jnanam to Mahaprabhu, how can I go ask, transfer so much of money to my account? So he said, okay, I'll go. He went to Kanchi Kamakoti Betam. Periva was seated. He walked and Periva said, what do you want? He didn't open his mouth, he kept quiet. Periva said, you need to go to a village near Tirunelveli. The village is in a very bad condition. Cows are dying premature death. So, you need to recite Bhagavatam for 7 days. He went. His wife had told him, give me 5,000. In those days, 5,000, the entire marriage used to get done. Get me 5,000. He didn't ask, but Periva said, you have to go to that village. So he said, without asking, he said he went. He didn't even tell his wife. So he went to that village, 7 days he listened, came back to Kanchi Petam. He came with a sad face. Periva asked, why are you sad? So he said, you had not shown. I recited Bhagavatam for 7 days. There were only 2 in the audience. I'm so happy today there are many. When he said there were only 2, who were those 2? Periva asked. One Perumal, another watchman. Of the 2, one was the Lord and the other one was the watchman. Periva said, you are very lucky. He said, how am I lucky? Are you mocking at me? He said, no. When Krishna gave a discourse that day, there was only one audience, Arjuna. But you are really lucky, you've got 2. Okay, he said, and he went home. He was going home with the intention that my wife is just going to thrash me. I've asked you for 5,000, you didn't ask for that, you didn't get that, and now you've gone and given Bhagavatam and come. So he goes inside, his wife says, filter coffee, pour it to ma. I'm amazed at this treatment. I thought I'll get the vice versa. I'm so happy that I'm getting such a treatment. He said, ஏன் சந்தோஷம் உனக்கு? நீ கார்த்தால சங்கர மடத்துலேருந்து 2 பேர் வந்திருந்தா பெரியவா 5,000 ரூபாய் கொடுக்க சொன்னான்னு கொடுத்தாங்க. So it becomes very important that certain people arise above the mankind and can sense the supreme. Just because we are not able to, doesn't mean there will be no such people. We are not able to. And you should see the unity amongst acharyas of various clans, be it Visishtadvaita or other. When our pontiff, 44th pontiff of Srirangam called Mukkur Alageshingar, he wanted to raise the Srirangam Gopuram at the ripe age of 82 or 83. It was not a young man. He went to the Dashavataram Sannidhi in Srirangam. People welcomed him. They said, at this ripe age, why are you coming, Acharya? He said, Andakara Indakaratha Kupadunar. The one who's sleeping in Srirangam is Ranganatha, he is one Karam. He has been for a long time. Andakara Indakaratha Kupadu. He came. And there were 13 tiers of Gopuram. That was the largest. Before that it was Sriviliputtur Gopuram, after that Srirangam Gopuram. So he, in MBA delegation, you have to delegate authority, planning, stopping, MBA degree. I mean, he delegated. He said, one tier, Periva you have to take care. One tier, Andavan has to take care. Andavan is an acharya of Andavan Ashram. So he delegated. Somebody went and asked, this Vaishnava Kovalache, edukku Perivar kitta koduthen? So he said, hey, adu romba shakti da. Adu in Sanskrit is used by those people in those days out of love. அது வந்திருக்கு அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா அவர் வந்திருக்கிறார் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அதுதான் out of love. அது ரொம்ப சக்திடா. So you should see the saumanasyam with which people live. Philosophies were different, practices are different. Periva in Kumbakonam is another temple town in Tamil Nadu. You find more temples and lesser houses there. Somebody said, you're going to New Zealand, there are twice the population of sheep and 1/3 is human. Likewise, there will be more temples in Kumbakonam. So in Kumbakonam, there is this Kaveri tributary called Mudigondam, which runs. So there are many places where you can get down the steps and bathe. It's called Ghattam. In Varanasi, they call Ghat. Hanuman God, Ye God, Go God, Ghattam. So it's called Paditturai in Tamil. So in Kumbakonam, there used to be one place where Advaitis used to go and take bath. There is another place where Vaishnavas, Sri Vaishnavas go and take bath. There is another place where Dvaitis, Madhvacharya followers go and take bath. Advaita Gattam, Vaishnava Gattam, Dvaita Gattam Nundu. Kanchi Periva used to go with his Sishyas, used to leave his Ekadandam. They are all Ekadandis, whereas in Visishtadvaita they are Tridandis. They put 3 sticks together and tie. Here they take 1 stick. For them only Brahma exists. Here there is Achetanam, Chetanam and Ishvara. Tattvatrayam. Ekadandi, Tridandi. So here Vaishnava Advaitis used to go, the other side Vaishnava Sannyasis used to go. And Vaishnavas used to go. So Periva wanted to take bath. So he took bath and he stayed there on the step. The Shishya went and asked him, Periva, edukku inge ukandanu kalambra edalame madathu kalamla. I said, no, I'm going to stay here. In some more time, Vaishnavas will come and take bath. After Vaishnavas take bath, it is customary in Sri Vaishnava tradition that one prostrates the other. Sevipa, virindu virindu sevipa, ottar kottar. There is no age bar in that. So they will prostrate before one another. So Periva said, I want to see the beauty with which they respect each other. Sri Vaishnava ottarukku mariyada kudukkradha paakano. Adha na paakadhukku inge ukandukirenda. See the broad mentality that he had. See what Mukkur Alageshingar's broad mentality was. Today are we like that? No. See, it's very important to follow a philosophy. At the same time, it is very important to not ridicule another's philosophy. At the same time, it becomes very important that after you realize that this is the ultimate motive of a philosophy, without egoism, you need to follow it. Advaita philosophy எனக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கு ஃபாலோ பண்றேன், விசிஷ்டாத்வைத philosophy பிடிச்சிருக்கு ஃபாலோ பண்றேன், சிவபெருமானை ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும் தியானம் பண்றேன், நாராயணனை பிடிச்சிருக்கு தியானம் பண்றேன், சாஸ்திரப்படி பிடிச்சிருக்கு இதுதான் கரெக்ட் அப்படின்னு தெரிஞ்ச உடனேயும் அந்த மனசை மாத்தி தியானம் பண்ணணும் வரணும். இதுதான் சின்ன வயசுல பழகிருக்கேன், இப்படித்தான் இருப்பேன் அடம் பிடிக்க கூடாது. That becomes very important. That is siddhi. Only certain people get that. So our acharyas never ever had that animosity. To a Visishtadvaitic work of Vedanta Deshika, an Advaiti philosopher Appaya Dikshita comments, Dvaita Sannyasi, our pere Akshobhya Tirthar, he belonged to the Madhva tradition. While he wanted help, he asked Vedanta Deshika to be the judge. Vidyaranya, a Shankaracharya who adorned the Sringeri Peetham, he was a great friend of Vedanta Deshika, where he would write letters. So it becomes very important to respect one another's tradition, at the same time be very focused, rather than believing in rituals which have not been mentioned in the Vedas. Believing in rituals which have been mentioned by the Vedas is different from believing what people have said. Shastrathla ஆயுஷ ஹோமத்துக்கு ஹோமம் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லியிருக்கா, பண்ணணும், பிலீஃப் இருக்கணும். ஒருத்தர் வந்து சொல்றார் ஹோமம் பண்ணுங்கோ, இது மிளகாவால ஹோமம் பண்ணுங்கோ, இந்த தேவியை பிரார்த்திச்சா பண்ணுங்கன்னா கூடாது, ஏன்னா அது சாஸ்திரத்தால் ஒத்துக்கொள்ளாத யஜ்யம். ஒருத்தர் சொல்றார் the Lord asks for patram, அப்புறம் pushpam, phalam, toyam. This is what he asks. Give me a fruit, give me a leaf, give it. But if somebody says sacrifice the animal and put that blood on the Lord, he has never asked for it. Show me the place where he has asked. Just because we follow out of devotion, that practice will not become right. It has to adhere to the Shastras. So it is very important that all of us resort to the right gurus, the right practices, follow and imbibe those practices in our life, and try living as much little as possible as what our preceptors have lived. That is the aim of Bhaja Govindam. Exactly 9 o'clock, I think. Now, there are 2 questions. We said we'll have a question answer session. It'll just take another 5 minutes, after which you can leave. Before which I would like to say there are some CDs kept of mine. Sadly, there are no English discs. They're all in Tamil, but my Tamil is very comprehensible, understandable and acceptable. It's not tough. So, Narasimha Avadaratha patti sollirken. Narasimha Avadaram is very close to my heart. Remember, the day after tomorrow in Sydney, I'm giving a Harikatha in Tamil on Narasimha Avadaram between 2 and 4 p.m. at Helensburgh Venkateshwara Temple in Sydney. So if you have your folks who understand basic Tamil, you can ask them to attend. So that's a Harikatha. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the morning, there is going to be a Harikatha on Srimad Narayaniyam, Guruvayurukku Varangal. Though it's about Guruvayurappan in Malayalam, I'm going to give it in Tamil. So language should not be a barrier. Of course, there will be a few Malayalam songs that I'll be singing to get the aura and the essence of Kerala. So நாளை காத்தால 10 மணிக்கு உண்டு, எல்லாரும் வரணும்னு பிரார்த்தனை ஒன்று. அப்புறம் சீரீஸ்ல நரசிம்மாவதாரம் வச்சிருக்கோம். That's a Harikatha, it's a video. And then there is Rukmini Kalyanam, which is a Harikatha, again a video. Then there is Agre Pashyami, which is Narayaniyam Harikatha audio, MP3. MP3, audio. Then Raghavane Talelo on Mannupugal Kosalaithan Manivairu Vaithavane, on the 10 pasurams of Thalvar, which make it's a lullaby. So that's a Harikatha audio. Then Bhaja Govindam, there are only 2 CDs I think, which is again audio. Then there is Sankalpa Suryodayam, which is an allegorical Sanskrit play based on Visishtadvaita philosophy, written by Sri Vedanta Deshika 750 years before. It's one of its kinds, it's a play. It's an allegorical play. The characters are none but Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madamatsarya. Namma manasukulla ivalana characters. Viveka is the Raja, Sumati is the wife, Durmati is the opponent's wife. So it's an allegorical play, 10 acts, Sanskrit play. It's an Upanyasam, it's not a Harikatha, it's just the lecture, no music, in Tamil for 6 hours. So that's available, and I think these are the CDs. Now, there are 2 questions that have been posed. I'll tell the question and then I will try explaining as much as I know. Please explain what is the status of Jivatma step by step after death. It means it reaches Punyaloka according to his Pava Punyam. If it attains Mukti without any rebirth, what is the purpose of doing Shraddha Karmas in the earth by his son? Okay, there are 2 parts to this question. First part I'll take. Jivatma. Jivatma lives with the Paramatma in a Hridaya Kamalam as per our Shastras. Hridaya Kamalam. Kamalam means lotus. No, don't start searching for the lotus there. Hridaya Kamalam is very minute. In that there is one Jivatma, the sentient soul, along with the super sentient soul which is Paramatma. And there are 101 nadis which go from it. Like how we say 100 ways, 101 ways, there are 101 nadis which go. If the Jivatma at that point of death departs through one of the first 100 nadis, then it is born again. While it is born again, in the interlude, in the break, it goes to the Papa Punya Rupam, whether it goes to Swargam or Narakam, experiences and comes back and is born again. If the Jivatma goes through the first 100 ways, one of the 100 ways it goes, then it is born again. If the Jivatma goes on the 101th Nadi, which is called as Sushumna Nadi. Sushumna is the last of the Nadis. If Jivatma goes that way, it will not go to Swargam, it will not go to Narakam, it will go to Moksha. Now this Papa Punyam, we know there are 2 kinds of karmas that we have. One is Sanchita Karma, the other one is Prarabdha Karma. Since we are born again and again, all our acts are bound to have good and bad, Punyam and Papam. So they have been accumulated in sacks. So what we have accumulated as of today is only Papam and Punyam. And they have all been accumulated in a go-down. Since we have accumulated them in plenty, it's called Sanchitam, Sanchita Karma. Now in this birth, I am experiencing sufferings and happiness due to the effect of little Papam and Punyam, not the entire thing. So one of the sacks is opened and little Papam and Punyam is transferred, and experiencing that all my happiness and sorrows because of that. For little itself we are experiencing so much, then what about when are we to experience the rest? That's why they say until and unless those sacks get cleared, you have to keep being born again and again. And every time that depletes, we start accumulating karmas on the other side. இது குறைய அந்த பக்கம் ஏறிண்டே இருக்கு. அதனாலதான் புனரப்பி ஜனனம் புனரப்பி மரணம். So that little karma we take from, இப்பதான் போட்டே இருக்கு அதை பார்க்கிறேன். So we take little from that sanchitam. That karma is called prarabdham. There is sanchita karma, you take little and experience. In olden days they used to buy kadugu and keep. Kadugu is mustard. They will take little kadugu to the anjana potti. Anjana potti is a little box, and nobody's anjana potti will everything be in that right place. They will all be mixed. So that kadugu is kept. This is prarabdham, that is sanchitam. So you need to experience this. By the time you complete this, little more is taken. So when one soul departs, when the soul is distinct from the body, here it has a perishable body. And then the body is burned, buried, whatever. The soul, when it departs through the Brahmarandram. Here, if you see for newborn children, you can see it very soft here. Then over a point of time it hardens. It's called Brahmarandram Kapalam. So it goes. The size of the soul is 10 power minus 6, which is micro. 10 power minus 6 is micro, 10 power minus 9 is nano, if I'm right. So it goes, it's micro level la irukkudiya Jivatma in the Brahmarandram valiya pogum. If it has not performed Sharanagati, it will not go to Moksha. Then it is born again and again and again. So it is born. Now when the soul departs, the soul can never travel on its own. It needs a body to travel. You need a boat to sail, you need a body to travel. So at that point in time, the soul acquires a temporary body that you can't see. Soul itself you can't see, where you can see the temporary body. Now that soul with that temporary body goes to Punyalokam or Papalokam, experiences that Punyam and Papam, and then comes back to another womb. Now this process is not 10 years. When the soul departs, it gets transferred to another body, another mother's womb. The time gap of that nanoth second, in that nanoth second, it goes to Swargam or Narakam, experiences that pleasure and pain and comes back. For us to understand, they put that Ramba, Urvashi, Menaka and all that. But that's just in the nanoth of a second. Now that again comes, experiences, born, experiences, again it goes. So it's like this, it keeps going. So the question is, what is the status of Jivatma step by step after death? After death, if you have not performed Sharanagati or through Bhakti Margam, if you do not go, then you are born again and again. It means it reaches Punyaloka according to his Papa Punyam, correct. Punyalokam or Papalokam. If it attains Mukti, suppose if it attains Mukti, it doesn't have to go to Papa Punyam. All the Papas are, once you perform Sharanagati at the feet of the Lord, your sins go away. How do you say that? Come on, give us justification. What does Krishna say? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Only to me if you surrender. Aham, I, tva, yours. Sarva papebhyo. All the sins, all the sanchita karma and prarabdha karma, I shall remove. If I lose all the karma, I don't become eligible to go to Swargam or Narakam. See, you will go to Swargam or Narakam only if you have Papam and Punyam. When my Papam and Punyam are taken away, I won't have eligibility to go there. When I have lost the eligibility to go to Papam and Punyam, that means I have to go to Moksha. Plus or minus or Papam or Punyam. Nil balance into Moksham. Moksha ishyami mashuchaha. He says that. So, if the person has attained Mukti, then he goes to Moksha Lokam. There is one way, let me not describe, it's a very complicated path called as Archiradi Margam. It goes in the path of light. But, now comes a question, okay, the soul has departed. Why should I perform, the soul has departed and has been liberated. Why should I perform Shraddha Karma for that soul? Correct? It's a valid question. Remember, Shraddha Karma is not performed for exactly the departed soul. In the name of the departed soul, we offer our obeisances to the representatives of those souls. My Tata died, his soul departed. Suppose his son is going to perform for his father. He is performing in the name of his father to representatives of him. See, the representatives of all departed souls are together called as Pitru. That abode is called Pitrulokam. Pitrulokata nama Tata da ukanundirukkaru artham illa. Tata is reborn. Where will he go? He can't divide himself into two parts. I'll sit in Pitrulokam. The other area, address for correspondence is the another feet. He is born again. But to that departed soul, there is one person in Pitrulokam who becomes a representative. Okay, Swami. For you, I will pay the ticket money. Don't worry, that means he is not me, but he becomes a representative of me. So, to the departed soul, even if he has attained Mukti, somebody has to give obeisances to the departed soul, to the representative. One. Second thing, we say Mukti has been attained. Who tells us that? Yaar solva? Apadi, mokshathukku poitar. ஒரு நம்பிக்கையில தான் சொல்ல முடியுமே வழி இவர் சரணாகதி பண்ணியிருக்கார் ஆச்சாரியன் கிட்ட நிச்சயமா he will go to மோக்ஷம் சாஸ்திரத்துல இருக்கு. Don't worry, பெருமாள் சொல்லியிருக்கார். That is why Sharanagati is the best recommended way. He has assured that I will give you moksham. But it doesn't mean necessarily that I can sit on the top of his head and say you have told, then you have to give moksham. He has mentioned out of love. We can never sit on compulsion. Nor do we have a tool to know that he has attained mukti. பண்ணிருக்கார் சாஸ்திரப்படி பெருமாள் மோட்சம் கொடுக்கணும், சாஸ்திரப்படி பெருமாள் நிச்சயமா நடப்பார், அதனால மோட்சம் கிடைச்சிருக்கும் சொல்லாமே ஒழிய I saw him become going, I went there and saw that he had attained moksham and have come back. Vindavar kandavar vindilar. So with that doubt in mind only, we also do Shraddha. Now the second question is, nobody in this world will not die when they are in unconscious status. Okay. If so, that means you're talking about coma, ba? Unconscious na coma.
Yes.
Okay, coma la, okay. If so, whether the soul is aware of his end by his inner consciousness. See, there is one inner consciousness reminded by the jnanam called as dharmic jnanam. I told about two jnanams, dharmic jnanam, dharmabhuta jnanam. Dharmic jnanam is something which always operates. That is the jnanam which keeps telling I, aham, aham nu ulla onu sollinde irukum. That jnanam is dharmic jnanam. That won't say any other thing. Kili mandavamnu Srirangathil undu. Kili will say ranga, likewise it will say I, aham. Till that knowledge of that Atma resides in us, we are living. Once the soul departs, that I-ness goes. I sleep in the night. People wake me up in the morning, they assume that I am dead or living. But once I get up, I say, I slept well. Even while I was sleeping, that I has not slept. If I have slept well, how do I know that I have slept well? I get up and say, I slept well. Because that I-ness is reminded by the inner dharmic jnanam. Whereas the other knowledge is dharma bhuta jnanam. That is the attributive knowledge. What attributive knowledge? This dharma, understand, is a subtle difference. It's complicated. Vedanta is not easy to understand. It's not simply upon your dead. It's very complicated. Dharma bhuta jnanam, the other jnanam, what function it does is Vishaya prakashana velayile swashrayattikku swayam prakasham. When I look at this pillar, I think my eyes look at it, they grasp it, they send it to my brain. My brain has recorded that this is a pillar. Then my brain tells me that this is a pillar. But all the seeing, reminding, telling is in a nanoth of a second. Paatha unna solrom. Ana adukulla ivlo process irukku. So when I look at the pillar only, I am reminded of the pillar. When I am talking to you, I am not reminded of the pillar. When I am talking to her, I am not reminded of the pillar. When I am looking at the pillar, I am not reminded of her. So when I look at the object, that knowledge ignites. When I don't look at the object, that knowledge is dormant. Again, when I think or look at it, again it awakes. Then again it sleeps. So there is an on and off mode to that knowledge. Hence it's called dharma bhuta jnanam. So to a person who is in coma, the dharma bhuta jnanam doesn't operate. Because when I come, na yaru theriyarda? You know who am I? That knowledge will not operate. Because this dharma bhuta jnanam sorry. When the dharma bhuta jnanam, that which has to remind him of the objects and people, is not operating. Because in that coma state, the dharma bhuta jnanam, which is dormant and active, is now permanently dormant. That is why when you go and say, his eyes may see, but they don't reach his brain and tell. Whereas the dharmic jnanam is operative. That I-ness is still there, though he may not say it. That is why that soul has not departed out of that body. That is why even for a coma patient, if they check, the heart will still be beating. So dharmic jnanam will always operate. Dharma bhuta jnanam, which is in the on and off mode, to a coma patient will be in the off mode. But the dharmic jnanam will always be in the on mode. If that is not there, that means the soul has departed. So I hope I have answered that coma patient's this thing. Correct? So these are the questions. Any other question? Okay, sir. Yeah.
That's very good. No graph. If we say, if we can't, the sun is no graph.
It's a star, but how is it a planet? Correct?
Yes, now you say it, right?
No. Wait, in our science that we read, sun is a star.
Yeah.
But how do we bring it under planets? How do we call it a graha? Is your question.
Yes, why do we do
Yeah. See, when we speak of thanks for your question. It is a very good question. See, to associate and to better understand, we say Graham is a planet. By definition, Graham is not the planet. For us, planet means an object that does not illuminate a light of its own. That does not have a light of its own. That's a basic definition. Whereas a star can give a light of its own. Sun is a star, Earth is a planet. அப்படிதான் நம்ம definition படிப்போம். But see, in Sanskrit and in our Shastras, Graham is something that catches, that holds a person. Something goes wrong, then Kumar Swami will say here, I gave this work to that person, hold him responsible. So you hold him. That means he is responsible for that. I experience a worry in my life that is because of the movement of the sun. So I hold him responsible. So he is a Graham. I don't get married because Guru Palan has not come. So Jupiter's grace has not come. So I hold Guru responsible. By function, he has held me, saying that when I say planet, it's not the planet what we associate, that Graham has held me, saying that at this point in time you will experience this. So he holds me. Enna pidichindrukar, na avara pidichindrukken. So this Graham concept is not based on the definition we mark as illuminatory body and not an illuminatory body. It is based on how we catch. So sun is a star, but to us here in the Navagraha, sun will come. That way even moon is not a star. Moon is a satellite, it's a natural satellite, but in the Navagrahas, moon also comes. So sun is a star, but it's a Graham. Moon is a natural satellite, but it's a Graham. Earth, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, they are all planets, they are all Grahams. Rahu and Ketu are in a Graha. It's not Uranus and Pluto and all that. So again, they are a part of it. So Graham is not the way we understand planets. So the definition changes. Thank you.
the last thing is the Ramayana, what we do
Huh.
in Fiji and Gibson or the Village Korea and closely all over. Jwala Prasad, by Jwala Prasad.
Okay.
And let's say about
Yeah.
there are a few things which have been written not right.
Okay.
That means we should not be reading this Mandali Ramayana as they call it.
What Ramayana?
We call
Mandali
it
Ramayana.
Mandali Ramayana.
Mandali. What is Mandali? Sorry.
Group of people.
Oh, group of people. Okay. Okay. Huh.
That was very good of you to have a discussion on very kind of this. There are a few other things too. So we're supposed to read Valmiki or Ramcharitmanas,
No, Valmiki Ramayana.
only Valmiki.
See, Ramcharitmanas in Hindi, the Ramayana of Kamban in Tamil, the Ramayana of Kuvempu in Kannada, the Ramayana of Ramanuja Edutachan in Malayalam, they are all transcreations. They are not translations, they are transcreations where they have imbibed social values and part of their imaginations. Whereas Valmiki Ramayanam is a source which was recorded when Ram lived. Ram lived, how he lived, how he breathed, how he sneezed, how he wrote, how he ate, how he slept, everything was recorded, one. And after it was written, it was taught to his own sons called Love and Kush. Love and Kush went before Ram and they told. So if Ram had noticed that there were some misconceptions or slight deviations, he would have corrected. So what was seen was written. Valmiki the composer, Hastam Amalakam Gata. Like how you can see a gooseberry which is on your hand, so was the story of Ram shown. So he wrote what he saw. He didn't write what he felt. He wrote what he saw. So Valmiki Ramayana is the ultimate, the first and the last source for Ramayana. All other Ramayans are meant for us to experience the lyrical beauty. But source is Ramayana of Valmiki. Every other Ramayana is to be respected and revered, but not regarded as the ultimate source. Yeah. मुझे भी बहुत सुख हो रहा है कि आप लोग इतने दूर आकर भी आप लोग इस अनुभव उसका संतोष ले रहे हैं तो वो आचार्य और भगवान की कृपा ही होगी. बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you. Sure. Thanks a lot for the questions. It was very enlivening and enlightening. So tomorrow morning, Swami will make some announcements. There are some CDs kept out. My only, I just have one public request. I'm sorry if I can make it here. If you all can write your email IDs and just give it in slips to me, because wherever I go, I collect the email IDs. I'm not going to leave you wherever I go. Huh? I'm going to take hold of you. So if you can, if he permits it, the association permits, you can just keep a slip of your, just the email ID and your name, because sometimes email IDs don't represent names. They'll have Harry Potter 07@gmail.com. So it'll be some other person's name. I would like to know your name and email ID. You can just leave it in a little slip, wherever, whatever paper you have there, so that I can collect it from them tomorrow or the day after. Yeah, please. I hope that I get the permission.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashalini Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. It was such a beautiful elucidation by Sri.Dushyanth Sridhar to us the greatest work of Sri Adi Shankara. He said in so simple words. I am definitely sure here every one of us have learned what we don't know, and we have unlearned what we learned wrongly, I think. And please join me in hands to thank and acknowledge this great spiritual leader. Thank you. Thank you all for coming today. And as Sridhar Sridhar said, the way to go, and as Adi Shankaracharya has said, Bhaja Govindam. So tomorrow he's going to talk about the Govinda itself, the Lord residing at Guruvayur, Kerala. It is believed, I think if you correct me, but I think the Lord there, the Bhagavan there, was worshipped by Sri Krishna and his parents himself in the Yuga when Krishna lived, and was handed over for the Kali Yuga for the Bhaktas for us to pray. And Narayana Bhattadari has beautifully summarized the great Bhagavatam epic in the Narayaniam, and I think we can learn more from Sri.Dushyanth Sridhar about the epic and the temple. And I request each one of you to call or inform anybody you know and invite them for this great yajna here tomorrow, and join us in spreading the word and taking advantage of this unique opportunity. And as Sri Sridhar said, there is cassettes here. If you don't have there are prices recorded on it. We are willing to take names and bookings on it. And Yashwant and Sridhar and Dr. Ganesh Kumar is there. Will you please give your names and also your addresses and email IDs, so we can get it settled tomorrow or something. The cash is, if you're short of cash, you please should have the CDs, which will expand further our knowledge, and we can listen and repeat and know more about this great Hindu heritage, our Vedic knowledge. And last but not the least, a sincere request from us, Bhakta Sangeet Samaj. Thank you for all coming. Your individual personal participation is always a great encouragement for us. But at the same time, we need whatever funds possible from any one of you. Whatever, it doesn't mean that's small or great. Nothing is small. It all helps us, and it's a token of support for us, which encourages us to bring such kind of events year to year. And with a humble request, do come tomorrow early 9:55 so that we can start at 10. And we have arranged some dinner packages today for takeaway. Please collect those packages and on the way out. And if you have any notebook questions and answers for tomorrow, please submit it early morning to any of our volunteers, and we will get it tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. And thank you for coming today. Good night, and drive home safely. Thank you.